Hi, Gloopies. I hope you're all doing well today. Today, we're going to be having some fun with a lot of friends. We'll be doing a PowerPoint party. I think it'll be really fun. And I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm your residential insane cat boy. My pronouns are he, they, and I like Higurashi a lot.
Hello, my name is Calamity Kira. I am your resident Yanti auntie. I love D&D, horror, and ASMR. Nice to meet you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Siv Aviana. I am your cute and comfy chaos squirrel, and I am also very lewd.
Yo.
Hell yeah, brother.
I think everybody here is lewd. I am Momo Torniche. I'm a shapeshifting wyvern, and I just cause chaos for everybody.
We do enjoy some chaos here.
Chaos.
Yeah. Today we're going to be doing PowerPoints together, and I think chat, you can tell what my PowerPoint's about. I also want to say, I may have shared a brain cell on this topic.
Hi, my name is Allie, and I'm 5 months pregnant with my 4th strain baby.
My God, Allie. Thank you, Allie. But we shared a brain cell, and 2 of us almost did Omegaverse.
Yeah, you and me, twinsies, honestly, truthfully.
Brain twinsies, hello, hi.
Exactly, hi.
Wait, how did you actually decide who got to do the thing?
Oh, because I was like, oh, well, it's Ava stream, you know.
You're
Like,
very
Ava can do
nice.
it.
You're
Okay.
very
Yeah.
nice to let me do it. It was just really funny because I was like, you could do a PowerPoint about anything. We both picked the same exact topic when there was no limits. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? How did you get in my brain? How long have you been
I'm
here?
sorry.
You're fine. It's just really funny. But mine is Omegaverse, not your average love story. Every good PowerPoint needs a tagline, so you know, I had to do a pretty good one. It's very on topic. We're gonna start out, chat. If you want to, here's a quiz. So you can do this yourself. You can find out what rank of the Omegaverse are you as you learn about the Omegaverse. I've already taken this quiz, so I already know what my rank is. But you can all find out. You can find out if you're the alpha, the beta, or the omega, which we're going to learn about today. Yeah, because, you know, there's 2 wolves inside of each of us. They're both horny.
You're very horny.
Mhm.
I was told by my friend that I don't have 2 wolves. I just have a female werewolf inside of me.
Hey, yo.
Yo.
Hey, yo.
Yo. So, for someone who's never heard of this before, what is it? The Omegaverse consists of alpha, betas, and omegas. It's also called ABO, if you're in the fanfic genre. It was originally a subgenre of erotic / fanfiction. It's been around for a long time, and we're going to learn a whole lot about that later. It's originally based off of the false interpretation of the hierarchy of wolf packs. So there was a study, I think it was in like the 80s or 90s, if I'm remembering correctly. And it talked about wolf packs and how there's like alpha and betas and omegas, and they serve specific functions. But it turned out that that was incorrect. And I don't know why it became so popular, but it did. And now we have ABO because of it and Omegaverse.
Yippee!
Yippee! The rank you are is hierarchical. There's a hierarchy. Words are hard. And it determines how people interact with you in romantic and sexual context. Words are hard, guys. Words are hard. But yeah. Within the Omegaverse, there's primary genders and secondary genders. This is just biologically speaking. There's, you know, obviously people who are trans and non-binary. However, when it comes to Omegaverse, it is just talking about what you have in your pants biologically, what you were born with. So male and female are the primary genders, and secondary genders are omega, beta, and alpha. And you can't you can't really change what you are for your secondary gender. It's just kind of what you're born with. And then at puberty, you get to find out, oh, what am I? Oh, this is what I am. That's great. And you can't really change that. There are things that within the writing that authors create for each individual universe that sometimes there's like heat suppressants and medications to like hide your scent, so you can kind of be like, oh, you don't actually know what I am, and you can, there's whole stories about pretending to be something you're not, but you can't actually change it within the confines of the fan fiction. I'm also going to say each of these titles is what I call them myself.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is kind of great, actually.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
It's very
Yeah.
accurate, in my opinion. Alphas generally are horny assholes when it comes to fan fiction. I've read a lot of these stories, and generally, they're horny assholes. Also, when I took the quiz, I was an alpha, so I guess I'm a horny
There were
asshole.
some pretty girls here. Let's go. Alpha here and ready to party. Not on my
Oh
suppressants.
my god, Kono. I mean, I don't think I'm that much of an asshole, but I mean, if an alpha's a horny asshole, I guess that's me. Generally, they're seen as dominant. They're also seen as physically built or muscular, which I'm not, but in most fiction, especially like boys love fiction, they're really like muscular buff dudes, and you're like, oh, you got that testosterone, don't you? They're often seen as very short-tempered. They're natural leaders. They can be any primary gender, so you don't have to be male to be an alpha. So you can be male or female. And then they're often seen as like an upper class or elite, part of that hierarchy I talked about earlier. And obviously, these are just kind of like what you generally see for these types of things. That doesn't mean it's the case all the time, because obviously, I feel like I'm not a lot of these things, but I am very dominant. Betas are basic bitches.
That's nice.
Rip anyone who got beta on their quiz.
So sorry.
That's me. Hi, I'm a basic bitch.
Oh, Sif, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're basic.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's
Oh,
fine.
you're just a regular people. That's what that means. That's why
Yeah.
you're basic bitch. They can have a mix of alpha or omega traits, or they could have their own unique traits. It kind of just depends on like the story. Most of the time though, they're just like a middle class or like a normal person, and they're just like watching stories unfold, and they're like, wow, these alphas and omegas are fucking crazy. And they're just like watching on
Actually,
the
yes.
sidelines. They're like, are you good? Are you in heat? Are you in a rut? Do you need a nap? Like, should you go lay down? They're just doing their best, and they're in this situation. That's what a beta is. And then our last one, omegas, or mega sluts, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
Please.
Funny enough, I actually just got my result, and I'm an omega.
Oh
Fuck,
my
let's go.
Hey, yo. I thought I was gonna be omega, to be
I'm
honest.
sorry, Ava. That's a stereotype.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's accurate.
I mean, the Omegaverse is all about stereotypes. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, that's why I was also like, this is what they generally are, and they're usually depicted like this in stories. They're obviously not always like this, but generally they are mega sluts. Kono, thank you for giving Kira a subby. Thank you.
I love being Ava's sub
Ayo.
to Twitch
Ooh.
I mean,
in game.
in game.
In game.
Mhm.
Don't bonk me, John Twitch.
No bonking. But omegas are often seen as submissive, gentle, calm. They're often seen as like a peacemaker, so they'll be like able to calm down the angry alpha because they're high on testosterone or whatever. They can't get out of their ruts. They need someone to calm them down. They also go into heat, which I'll talk about in a little bit. They're also at the bottom of the hierarchy, so they often face discrimination and oppression in a lot of stories because they're like, oh, you're just an omega, you're a mega slut, you can't do anything, which again is not always true, but it's just it's part of something that's happened with the Omegaverse over time that kind of put these characters into their hierarchy.
Mm.
Like, brought to you by these nuts. Good in any sort of situation.
I realize y'all can't hear the sound cues, so you do not have to hear about the nuts.
Oh, damn.
See, oh, you're depriving the sweet squirrel of their nuts.
No, I need my nuts.
You need all the nuts. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Nutty, nutty.
I also realized I did not share my thing to y'all in Discord because I'm a nugget. I probably should have seen wait to see it on stream.
Watching your stream to watch you do that.
I know,
Oh
me
my
too.
God. I love that picture you used for this. That's
I'm-
right.
Okay,
But also, I've seen too much of like this. But
I
why
need
is
you
this
all
such a
to-
thing?
I need you all to know I had to search so long and hard to find an impreg picture that did not make me feel uncomfortable to put on Twitch.
Oh, there's so many that are bad, dude.
There's so
It's fucking
many.
crazy.
Fine, thank you
That's
for
actually so
giving
true.
Alex a subby. Thank you.
Fine.
Thank you. But literally, there were so many pictures that were either like of minor characters or like they were full on naked, and I'm like, Impreg, are you okay? Can we calm down? This is the one that made me the least uncomfortable. It's also by Lydia Forever. It's under Sif, but I promise that I gave credit.
Oh, I can go down on.
Oh, you're gonna go
so people can
down?
see the
Hey,
lovely
yo.
artist.
Sif, you're going
Yeah.
down
Hey,
for me.
yo.
Yeah, don't worry.
You can tuck me a little lower too if you want to show off the bottom of the screen.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, I guess I could technically move y'all down. I have control over y'all. I realize.
Yeah, you do have control.
I
You can
move
take control of
you
me
down.
any day,
Ayo, I'm just gonna-
Lady Eva.
there. Now you can see. I'll also move Kira down a little bit. I'm in control of everyone, so I'm like trying not to break everything. There. Ayo. Exactly. But so pregnancy within the Omegaverse. Guys can get pregnant. Surprise, shock, and awe.
What?
Oh my
Finally.
God. People can get
Finally.
pregnant.
I want my
Finally.
baby daddy, you know, because I
Took
don't
him
want to
long
be
enough.
pregnant.
But within most stories, alpha males and alpha females can get pretty much anyone but other alphas pregnant. So, alpha males can get female betas, male omegas, and female omegas pregnant, and female alphas can get female betas, male omegas, and female omegas pregnant. Which you might be thinking, how the fuck does that work? Magic.
Ooh.
I'm especially curious about the female alpha to male omega situation.
Sometimes things just happen, you know. Sometimes a a clit can become a penis.
I was ready for what?
I need more.
You were ready?
To be fair, I need more female alpha. Like, I need
Honestly.
more female alpha literature. I don't think there's
Me
enough
too.
female alpha representation.
I haven't found any.
Kira, I like how you're like, I'm ready, and then you're like, wait, what?
No, I was like, those were two separate sentences, and then I just got shooketh. I was like, wait, because it's like, much like APP, the image grew in my mind, and then I had to react.
That's a
All I
great
know
thing
is
to
I'm
grow.
ready for breedable men. I think it's about time. Government
It's
issued
always
breedable men.
Mhm.
a government issue.
Yes,
A taxable deduction.
here's your government issued breedable man. Everyone gets one. Mhm. You're
Thank
welcome.
you, thank you.
Incredible.
But yeah, the science behind the biology, I don't understand. It's different in pretty much any fan fiction you read. It's just possible. It's just possible by magic. Magic and words and science. Lots of people can get pregnant. Lots of people can make people pregnant. Pregnant.
Pregnant. Actually,
Pregante.
normally I say my saying is like only way no pregante.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But in specifically with the Omegaverse, that's not the case.
yeah.
Hey, Omegaverse makes everything a little different, right?
I was gonna say, I feel like the Omegaverse like emphasizes the baking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
you just don't not. You
don't
bake.
not breed.
You get the baguette and you bake it too. Like those are your options.
Mhm. So yeah, this is a big part of fan fiction in the Omegaverse, though, is pregnancy. It is a big thing, and it happens in most of the fan fictions I've read about it. So I had to give it its own slide.
Yippee!
Oh, hey, look! Following that, erotic intimacy.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a very nice demonstration off to the side about nodding. Now you can see what nodding is in a Twitch appropriate way.
Which I did not think was going to be possible. I'm
Yeah.
incredibly
Also
impressed.
surprised.
Thank you,
Mhm.
utterly, Alice, for drawing this and making this possible. So you
Damn.
see, nodding is when a PP has a little extra down there that grows. It's just some extra like muscly bit. I think there's animals that do this in real life, but people can do it too in the Omegaverse. You can use your imaginations to figure out how that works. There's also silicone sculptures that have that. So I mean, you can try it out for yourself sometime. But there's lots of different types of erotic intimacy. I had to talk about nodding first, even though it's not at the top of the list, because I mean that picture is amazing. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. It's amazing. No, you are amazing.
Now you, all of you, you're all letting me talk to you about the Omegaverse. How's that not amazing? So some of the things are ruts or rutting and heat cycles. So heat cycles affect omegas specifically. It's also like how animals have heat cycles. That's where it comes from. And they could fall into them at any time. And that lets off pheromones, both for alphas and omegas to enjoy. Betas are just sitting there like, y'all smell funny. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, because
Yeah, good luck.
in a lot of the fiction, the alphas will be like, I smell an omega. And like,
True.
and they lose their shit.
It's the definition of boy smell.
Exactly.
Boy smell.
They're like, I got that good twink smell. Let me go impregnate them.
I need that twink now. That boy smell.
So true.
So that happens a lot. So there's a lot of pheromone action going on between the alphas and omegas. Generally, the omegas' pheromones just make alphas go crazy, and they lose their senses, which can lead to some very uncomfortable things. So I personally like very consensual Omegaverse, but there are sides that do have some like consent, non-consent, and different things like that. It's just depending on what flavor you like. I personally just like consensual stuff, but I mean to each their own. Nodding, as we already talked about with our lovely imagery over here. Scent marking is also a thing. It's something that animals do, especially like cats, like how they rub up against you. Alphas in a lot of fan fictions will like rub up against an omega, or they will like after they've had sex, they'll just be like, "Ah, yes, you smell like me now, perfect." So that's a whole thing. It's like, and then an alpha could be like, "I smell a different alpha on you. What have you been doing? Who have you been touching?" And things
Yeah.
like that.
They're very possessive.
Oh, they are. It's
Which can be kind of hot in the right context.
I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
It just depends. Sometimes it's like, "Ooh, I like that," and other times it's like, "Bro, back off."
Yeah, for
It all
real.
just depends. There's also another type of marking which became more common recently, which is bite marking, and it will link an alpha and an omega, or an alpha and a beta together. So they became like kind of like fated mates, and they're like mated together for all eternity. It's kind of how it goes. Like, oftentimes you'll see it depicted as the alpha biting the scent glands of a beta or an omega, which I don't really understand all that. I think that would taste terrible personally, but you know, to each their own. Imprinting is a thing. I personally don't like it. We've seen it in things like Twilight. It could be a little weird.
It's a little.
Oh yeah.
It's
a little
strange.
weird. Yeah. And then of course breeding. Must breed. All Pregante, all breed.
Baguette and baking.
Yeah. And let's go into some history of this. Starting off with Star Trek. So, here are some of the tropes where they came from. So, in 1967, Star Trek had an episode called Amok Time, which involved Spock and Captain Kirk. There's a lot of fanfics based off of this episode, and it talks about Vulcan mating and heat cycles. So, it was very popular for obvious reasons, and it's where some of the tropes come from, such as mating and heat cycles, and also like fights for dominance and things like that. In 1969, there was a novel that was released called The Left Hand of Darkness. I love the year that this was released, by the way, because 69, ayo.
The magic year.
I know, exactly. And in this year, in this book, it has extraterrestrial androgynous world with hermaphroditic characters and mating cycles. I don't know how popular this book was because I've never heard of this before. I just found it in my research, and I wanted to include it because obviously those tropes exist there, and they exist in the Omegaverse now. Some obvious ones are Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight, Teen Wolf, Harry Potter. There's others as well, but these are the most popular ones. And they have animal transformations, be it from werewolf to human or like cat to human, different things like that. And then pretty much the grandfather of this trope, Supernatural. It has werewolves, male pregnancies, and a lot of erotic fan fiction based off of it.
Yeah.
So I've never actually watched Supernatural, so I have only seen this from the
should.
outside.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen like the fanfic side of Supernatural because I see people like post like the art, the fanfics, and things like that. So I knew it came from Supernatural, but I just haven't indulged in it myself. And here's the full timeline of it. It first started way back in 2010. The first mentions of alphas and nodding was in a live journal community for Supernatural. Surprise, shock and awe.
Amazing. Incredible.
Amazing. The first fan fiction that is recorded was on July 24th of 2010 by The Dirty Sock, and they wrote a Supernatural fan fiction titled I Ain't No Lady But You'd Be the Tramp. And this is, I did not go read it. I'm pretty sure you could go find it if you really want to, but this is just the first recorded Omegaverse-esque fiction that someone could find. This is also listed on the wiki for Omegaverse. I need you guys to know there's a whole wiki for this. It's full of facts. There's
As
also
there should be.
There's academic papers about Omegaverse. I need you all to know.
Oh,
I found
that's
academic
amazing.
papers because people were talking about
It's
like
probably people are like, we need to research these women. They're insane.
it was actually like papers about like fan fictions and like how they evolve over time and like tropes and things like that. And it just so happened to have a chunk of stuff about Omegaverse. I'm like, oh, okay. This is published in a scientific journal. That's great.
Well, I would find that as a very interesting, it's a very interesting trope.
It
So-
is.
And popular.
It's just really funny. In 2010, on November 9th, the first mentions of Alpha, Beta, and Omega were used in a writing prompt that someone created. In June of 2011, the Omegaverse and its dynamics are commonplace. So this is a time where you could find it very openly as Omegaverse, and they're around a whole lot, so you can find them easily. Two things happened in July of 2011. The very first Fem/Omegaverse work was published because up until now, most of them were boys' love. And there were some straight ones, but they were mainly boys' love. So this is the first recorded Fem/. So that's really nice. We love to see representation.
Yes.
Also, it was the first use of the trope outside of the Supernatural fandom. So for a good year, there was no other indication this was anywhere outside of Supernatural until July of
That
2011.
quickly changed, I feel.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
obviously someone could have like written something and kept it to themselves, but this is just the first recorded one outside of Supernatural. I'm surprised it took a whole year for it to travel elsewhere. In 2012, fated mates became a thing. So it's like, oh, we were meant to be together. Here is my Luna and all that type of stuff from like the werewolf genre. If you know, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In 2015, the first Alpha Beta Omega manga was published in Japan for sale. In 2016, power dynamics between Alpha, Beta, and Omega were like outlined and fully like normalized. And then the byte/mark links that I mentioned earlier became a thing in 2016. Like, this is how we're linked together. We're mates now because I've bitten you. And only I can bite you. No one else can. In 2018, inner wolf animal instincts guiding alphas and omegas arose. So again, like redding, heat, losing myself to my senses, you smell so good kind of vibes. And as of today, in 2024, there's over 186,750 Omegaverse fan fictions just on Archive of Our Own. I didn't include any other fan fiction site because there's always a chance of like cross posting. So just on this one website, there's 186,000 fanfics. There's also over 200 published books that are available for purchase on Amazon and other places that are specifically Omegaverse or Omegaverse tropes. So that's a lot. There's a lot of fiction out there for this one subgenre, which became its own genre.
That's wild.
And
That's fucking
that's my
crazy.
presentation. Do we have any questions?
That's actual factual. That's my face when you were telling me about the women and the men.
Well, to be fair, I feel like I'm quite a knower of this genre myself, so I hope Chad has some.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, I'm pretty well versed.
Chat, feel free to ask any questions during this time. I thought this was the perfect image for this because I was like, this is me trying to understand. I have no idea how the biology works. I feel like no one really does. They're just kind of like, it just does. Men get pregnant.
Yeah.
We stay winning. The end.
They won.
Yeah. Also, ladies can get people pregnant. So that's also, you know, winning.
I
That's
love that.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Mm-hmm.
To other people, not to me.
You love
I'm
to-
terrified.
Very valid. Very valid.
But it'd never work because I'm an Omega.
I'm having sex with
I'm just a basic bitch, so.
Okay, you're beautiful just as you are.
Oh, thank you.
That is what's happening.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I was reading a story once. Okay, it was more than once.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And I was reading that like betas stereotypically have a harder time getting pregnant. So they would have to take like supplements in order to help them
Mhm.
because it's like it's not as like I guess it's not as easy as people who have like heat cycles and like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So is that something that you came across in your research, or is that something here that someone here can answer? Is that standard? Like if you're a
So-
beta, it's harder to get pregnant?
It depends, because there's a lot of instances where betas can't get pregnant at all. It again just depends on the writer and like how they want to make the world. In most of the ones like I generally read, they're just kind of normal people, but it's commonplace that they just can't get pregnant or they have a harder time getting pregnant, which is one of the reasons why alphas are like, oh, I need to find an omega, even though omegas are like the least common out of like the entire population. So it's like betas are the most common, alphas are a minority, but they're more common than betas. I mean they're more common than omegas, and omegas are like the rarest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's what I was reading when I was reading a lot of these stories. Is that like omegas are actually pretty rare, and then there's like a lot of betas. But then like in this, I guess it was in like this particular story that I actually talked about because like one of the side characters was a beta, and so they actually talked about how this like beta and an alpha ended up falling in love, but the beta had to take like a bunch of supplements to in order to have babies.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know which story you're talking about, and I think I read that one too.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah. It was one of the more popular ones at the time, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I will potentially poke your brain about that one.
But yeah, it's definitely a thing. Again, it just depends from writer to writer. But it is
Yeah.
common for betas just not to be able to, which is why they're not seen as desirable as omegas, which is weird because it's like, oh, omegas are like what alphas want the most, but then everyone treats omegas like garbage, and it's like, what the
Yeah.
actual
Yeah, I don't
fuck?
understand that at all.
That math is not mathing, guys.
I kind
Right.
of I kind of associated like how people treat omegas in the Omegaverse as like an extreme dramatization of how a lot of people in like the streaming community will treat bottoms.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And omegas are often like visualized and shown to be bottoms, but depending on the story, an omega can definitely have like alpha traits. Again, it just depends
Right.
on like the character, but as a
Mhm.
generalization, they are kind of seen like that, as like submissive bottoms, and kind of have that stigmatism behind it. And there's like whole stories about omegas being like, oh no, I'm going to defy the odds. I'm going to be the best thing ever. I'm going to show those alphas, which I like that because it's like an underdog
Mhm.
story. And it's a good
Mhm.
vibe.
There
Mhm.
was a story that I read that was like similar to that, like where like the main alpha and omega pairing, the omega was definitely the one who called the shots in the relationship, and then like and the alpha was like basically a puppy.
I
Yeah.
love puppy.
I love
love
And it
that.
was
puppy, yeah.
so
Yeah.
cute. I actually loved it so much. I think I reread it like 3 times because I was like, yes, this power dynamic. I love it so much.
Mhm.
That sounds amazing. But
Plus,
I
can we
think
just talk about for like, oh,
Hmm.
sorry.
no, go ahead. I was
Just
gonna say
one more
if
thing.
chat-
I'm sorry. I
No,
really
no,
like
you're
this
fine.
story.
No, you can keep going. I'm gonna close this, and if I think Alex, I think
Mhm.
yours is next. If you wanna share it to me, I'll go ahead and get set up. You can go ahead though, Kira.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that is this like standard across like Omegaverse that like whenever the alpha gets like in heat or like aroused, their eyes turn yellow?
Their eyes turn yellow.
That's
Uh,
not a common trope in all of them.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
like in most of the
It's
ones
a
I
very
read, I would say like
specific-
80% of the ones that I read, their eyes like when they were like in the mood, their like eyes, their regular eye color turned to like this like piercing like golden color.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I
was
personally haven't
hot.
seen that. It may just have been like. It may have just been like something they wanted to do, if that makes sense. But I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that's.
I just noticed it across a
common.
bunch of different authors, so I thought it was common.
I mean, it
Like
could
I have
just
seen
be
a
like
lot
a
of like.
subtrope.
Yeah, I was also like, is it
Mhm.
just like does state actually change, or is it just to indicate that now they're horny?
No, it actually changes like during the whole like during their like
Mm.
what is it called? During their heat, I guess. During the alpha's heat, their eyes would change color, and that's how their omega knew
Oh,
that
that's
they
really
were
interesting.
about to get ruined.
There you are. I was trying to figure out where you
I'll try
were.
and find the story because it's also the same. The one that I'm specifically thinking of is the same story as like the different power dynamic that I really really liked.
God damn it.
Just off in the distance.
Sorry.
God damn it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It was just really funny. It was just like, oh.
Okay.
Let me.
Yeah.
I gotta grab your slide. I worked it as one does. As
Oh
one
no.
does.
Oh no.
Oh no! I broke everything. By shocking and awing no one. That is
Our
me.
table is broken. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
I love that meme.
I don't even understand where it came from.
There we go.
I assume
Why
someone's
would you
table
work this
broke and it
out?
was not great. But
It was like these two kids who were playing, and one of the kids threw a ball, and it hit the mom's glass table and shattered the glass table. So the younger one was like, "Oh no, the table, it's broken!" With a very angry mom looking at them.
oh. Oh, okay. I need to find this original.
Let me go back. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Alex. My pronouns are he, they. And I'm gonna teach you about the When They Cry universe.
Hey, yo. I was so excited when you said you were going to do this.
So you want to get into the When They Cry series, which is I just shortened it to WTC. But why? Where do you start? What's a Nifa? And why is Beto? This is Beto. Why is she sexy? Just like why? I went ham on this. I nerded out.
Okay.
So we're gonna learn today. So let's start with the basics, everybody. Get your pens and papers.
Taking notes.
Higurashi, or When the Cicadas Cry, was released in 2002, August 10th specifically, and Umineko, When the Seagulls Cry, was released August 17th in 2007. They're two really big and really historic and massive visual novels, both written and originally drawn by Ryu Kishi 07, within the group 07th expansion, founded by Ryu himself and co-founded by Yada Zakura. There's also another game called Siconia or Sisonia. I forget how to pronounce it, but that's ongoing, like currently, and I didn't want to like add that because I haven't read it yet. But that's like ongoing, and I think it's like When the Something Cries. I don't remember what it's like specifically. Both Higurashi and Umineko are chapter-based visual novels that both have a manga and a shitty anime adaptation. Like I hated the Higurashi anime.
Even the new
one? I don't like Go, really, because I'll get into it. Hold on, there's a reason. Higurashi is made up of 8 arcs, which are both question and answer arcs. This is like what Ryu does in his works, which are just questions and answers. So like there'll be like 4 chapters that are questions, and then there'll be 4 chapters that are answers that like go back and like touch upon previous things, and then the final chapter will like tie everything up. And Umineko's the same thing, just question and answers. Sorry, I talk really fast.
You're good.
So Higurashi has a base, like I'm talking, this is gameplay wise, has a base total, not counting anything else, just a base game, 14 hours to beat. So like a few days, if you're like non-stop playing, you'll beat it in a few days.
That's a lot.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
And Umineko, not just base game, once again not counting like fan discs or anything, has 146 hours to beat. And both of them have a word count of over 1 million.
Oh wow.
And both of them are longer than the Bible, to really put it past, like, and
Jesus.
Harry Potter.
Like the whole series of Harry Potter.
Pretty
Like
sure.
all books.
I'm pretty sure. At least Umineko does.
Oh.
That's a lot of words.
That's impressive.
It's a lot. So, I also have the chapters in a timeline order too. I went fucking crazy. I don't know why. So I'll just give you guys the TLDR for Higurashi without like spoiling major events. Because I think everybody should play it or watch it if you want to read it. I mean, technically you're reading it but like read the manga or the visual novel. So in Himaizawa, in a small, seemingly idyllic rural village in Japan, circa 1983, the village known for its annual Watanagashi festival, which honors its local deity Oyashiro-sama. So it's like a teeny tiny little village, probably population maybe 1,000 people, and they have like a little festival every year to like praise a specific deity that's specifically tied to their like village. And it's like where they send like things down a river, and it's really cute. So just the TLDR without spoiling. You fucked around and you found out.
Okay.
Yep.
You need your last fa, which is a character slogan. She just says it. She just goes Nifa a lot.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on with Rina? If you know anything about Higurashi, you've
Yeah.
seen Rina. What the fuck is going on with Rina? And I love her so much, but is she like genuinely okay? Is there no therapy?
No.
Like, girl
She's
needs
not
help.
okay.
She needs help. Okay, but like, why am I crying? Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I crying? Oh, that's really brutal violence. Like, incredibly brutal violence. Wow, I love this series. It's so heartwarming because Ryu's writing, you're like, You're like, oh,
Heartwarming.
it's so hard. There's like moments where like the gang is all sweet, and you're like, oh, that's so sweet. And then
Yeah.
they like brutally murder each other, and you're like, oh, okay.
My cute anime girls.
As you
Why?
do with your friends.
I love this. I love this series so much. Okay, but like, why am I high-key crying the remix? Like, why am I crying again, but like in a different tone? You know, like crying volume 2, kind of. And like, okay, Rika, girl, calm down. Everything that's happening, it's all yours. Like, chill. Like, we get it, girl. So that's kind of the TLDR for Higurashi.
Yeah.
Without fucking like ruining it for everybody. So these are all the question arcs. I can read the summaries if you want. If everybody wants me to.
Yes, please.
'Cause there's-
It's a little tiny.
okay.
I think you need to.
Okay. The first one, the first question arc is Oniki Kushi. My pronunciation's gonna be horrible, by the way. It's Oniki Kushi Hen, or Spirited Away by the Demon arc. Told in the perspective of Maebara Kiichi, as he grows increasingly paranoid and eventually violent as he progressively feels that his friends are trying to kill him. So that's the first ever chapter is from his perspective, and we're watching him like slowly become an unreliable narrator as he thinks that his friends are like out for him to like get him, you know? So he starts attacking them before they can attack him, kind of thing. Question arc 2 is Watanagashi Hen, or the Cotton Drifting chapter, which this arc is best known for the first appearance of Sonozaki Shion, and revealing a more sensitive side of Sonozaki Mion, which are the twins. If you've seen Higurashi, those two are the twins with the green hair.
Oh.
There's a character named Oishi. I didn't really put him in here because he's more of a side character, and then we learn about later on, so I didn't want to spoil him. But so he shows up in this chapter as well, and he appears to be more determined and obsessed in a pursuit to solve the Oyashiro-sama's curse, regardless of the means. So within the lore, if you don't do the festival that I was saying, this deity will put a curse on everybody, and the curse is like you go crazy or you die or something like that.
It's a
So
bad time.
It's a bad time. So the third question arc is Tatarigoshi Hen, or the curse killing chapter. This story focuses mainly on the Hojo family, and is the first arc to reveal details about Hojo Satoko's older brother, Hojo Satoshi, who vanished on Satoko's birthday the year prior as an alleged result of Oyashiro-sama's curse. So Satoko is the little blonde girl, if you've ever seen Higurashi. And
Unfortunately, no.
okay, I have her in here, don't worry. And her brother, like, and he's kind of like a catalyst to everything, but he disappeared. He kind of fucked off on her birthday, which is kind of a fucking dick move. And so he fucked off, and so she's freaking out, and everybody's freaking out because they're like, why did he disappear? This is weird. Like, Satoshi doesn't really do this. Like, what the fuck? And so this whole chapter is kind of like focusing on Satoko and like her family, and then like trying to come up with the mystery of like why, and like unravel the mystery of why he disappeared, and like, is it a curse or did he just like run away? You know. And then the final of the question arcs is Hima Tsubushi Hen, or the time wasting chapter, which the story revolves around the experience of Akasaka Mamoru, an investigator from the Metropolitan Police Department in Tokyo, who continues to reveal a mature and moving side of that Rika girl. Her whole name is Furude Rika. So she's one of our biggest characters, and so this whole chapter is like her kind of her backstory a little bit, where somebody's like investigating her because she seems a little off, but not in like a way that we've already seen, but like a different off. Like, she's really mature for being like so young, you know? And it's like weird how mature she is, and not in like a grown-up way, but like almost like an eerie mature way, you know?
Like something's off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like something's off with this girl. Like something's off. And then these are the answer arcs. So so the first answer, because remember the question arcs are just like establishing characters and things, and then the answer arcs tie up those chapters. So the answer arc 1 is Miyakashi Hen, which is the eye-opening chapter, and it's told from Shion's point of view, and it follows her life and her psychotic behavior caused by the loss of the person she loves, which is Satoshi. So because he fucked off, one of the twin sisters I was talking about is like madly in love. She's been like madly in love with him, and she like goes crazy because he's not around anymore, and she like is blaming everybody about it. So she's like doing a lot of fuck shit because she thinks it's everybody's fault because of what happened. She's crazy. I love Shion, but she's fucking crazy. And then the next chapter, the next answer arc is Suma Horoboshi Hen, which is the atonement chapter. And this arc introduces the idea that there's nothing demonic or supernatural happening in Hinamizawa, since Hinamizawa syndrome causes insanity. So it's throughout the whole series, it's like speculated if this is like a genuine curse, which is like supernatural, or if this is like a parasitic like disease that's like spreading, like COVID or like mad cow disease. You know, like something that could like spread and cause people to like snap and like go crazy, kind of like 28 Days Later type vibe. So this chapter like sees if that's like actually happening or not. And then the answer arc number 3 is Mina Goroshi Hen, which is the massacre chapter. And the story answers more questions than those in Tatari Goshi. I can't pronounce these fucking names. Than the atonement chapter. And thanks to his determination, Kichi saves Satoko from her fate in that arc. So we have a little fucky-wucky time shit. Because Satoko has like if you've seen Higurashi, then you've seen what happens to her.
Yeah,
like
she has a time.
Yeah. So in the visual novels, he saves her from what happened. So it's like something happens and he gets to go back and like kind of correct what happened because he realized, whoa, wait, you know. And then the last one is Matsuri Bayashi Hen, which is the festival accompanying chapter, and the story revolves around the remaining questions, and because of the renewed determination of Hanyu, which is a character I cannot talk about, but she's there, she exists. There's a little sneak peek. At the end of the last chapter, she is now a physical character in the world. So I know that's very, like, doesn't answer anything for the the ending chapter to the series, but any more and I would spoil the fucking series.
Higurashi
And I don't want to ruin
also
that for
very
anybody.
complicated,
That's
so
you're pretty. That's pretty
Yes.
impressive already.
Thank you.
Spoiling like.
Thank you. I try my hardest.
appreciate.
These are our characters. So this is Rina. I used the new anime art style for this one in particular because I thought it was cute. This is Rena. I call her Rina, but it's Rena if we're being like truthful. And this is Satoko. And this is Mion. I couldn't find a PNG like this for Shion, so I didn't put her in here because she's not really a main character like these 5.
Oh, okay.
And this is Rika. She does have a school uniform like Satoko in them, but this is the only one of like this art, like this specific pose I could find where she's like this. And then this is Kichi. So these are our titular bad bitches right here. Yeah, I love these little guys.
Who's your favorite?
Rena.
Valid.
I love Rika too, but I love Rika for another reason that I can't say. But she has a lot of connections to many things, and I love her. These 2 are my bad bitches right here. Everyone else is okay. I don't like Kichi all that much, because he's kind of just there, you know. But
He's the self-insert character.
He kind of is, yeah. Having been through the series multiple times, you're right. So I made a little like cycle chart to summarize the plot. The question arcs are 5 kids deal with the supposed curse that causes everyone to go mad if they dare to leave the village or disrupt a very beloved festival. So if anything happens during that festival I brought up, the people will go mad in town. They'll start killing each other, start hurting themselves or others, etc., etc. Or if they try to leave the village. If you try to leave the village, same rules apply. So you're stuck there. You're stuck in Hinamizawa for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's mysterious circumstances, which is time itself somehow reset back to June 1983. So Higurashi takes place within like a week, and it's Groundhog Day, which isn't a spoiler. It tells you immediately. So everything happens within like a week time frame. So it's like Groundhog Day. After the end of the week, boom, we're like right back to the beginning.
Oh.
And leaving the rest of the cast unknowing to the reset. So nobody but this Rika girl, this girl, knows what's happening. Nobody but her, because she's like she knows. So she knows what's going on. Well, kind of. But then like nobody else does. Which every reset happens, every Groundhog Day that happens, they get angrier and angrier and more violent. And then, so that's why Rika is such a titular character. I can't say what she knows, but she knows something. That girl's got a lot of nifas in her brain. And then the answer arcs are our beloved main cast learn to break the supposed curse and finally end the cycle of violence. So they kind of like, they end the whole like art. They end like everything. They break the supposed curse. They break everything. So they can finally be free from this June 1983, you know? That's what I got for Higurashi. I know, I summarized it really quick, because this is already a big PowerPoint. Does any of you have any questions, or should I save that for the end? Because I'm not done. I have Umineko.
I mean, I've played most of the first game, so I know a lot of this.
Okay. Then
It's just very fucky. Like with the
It's very
shenanigans and everything.
It's very fucky.
I'm just afraid that any question would lead to spoilers, so I'd rather not.
That's okay. So then I will start with Umineko, which I love them both. I think I like Umineko a little more. It's a bigger boy to get into. It's obviously longer than Higurashi, but I think it's his best work.
Mm-hmm.
It really like shows how his prose and his writing. I will say with Umineko, I cannot tell you about many characters. I can tell you about 3, which I have, but the rest are like spoilers because it's so big and there's so many characters. There's at least like 30 or 40. There's a lot of characters.
That's a lot bigger than Higurashi.
It's big. He's a big boy. So this is Umineko's plot without spoilers, TLDR. The story takes place in 1986 on October 4th and 5th. So this one only takes place within 2 days, whereas Higurashi's like a week, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
On the secluded island called Rokenjima, and the head of a wealthy family named the Ushiromo, a wealthy family head named Ushiromiya Kinzu, who lived and owned Rokujima, is near death, and 11 of his family members arrive on the island to discuss how Kinzo's assets will be divided once he's dead. So, Umineko's kind of Higurashi's kind of a mystery. It more leans towards the violence end of it, which, you know, if you don't like gore, don't watch Higurashi or play it or whatever. Whereas Umineko leans heavy on the mystery. It's a mystery thriller. It still has like violence a little bit, but not nearly to the extent. It's a heavy on like the mystery element. So if you like mystery, kind of like Ace Attorney a little bit, then you'll really like Umineko. So that's spoiling. You fucked around and you found out again, but like this time the remix. Witches, bitches, riches, because there are witches in this, and not what we think are witches. They're called witches, but they're not like waving a hat or not waving a hat, waving like a wand with like a big hat on, like riding a broomstick. And fuck Beto is so hot. Why is she such a bitch? Which is the blonde girl. I had in the beginning. She's an asshole, but she's really fucking hot. Okay, I guess I'm crying now because this one's a lot more emotional than Higurashi. Like, you get really invested in these characters, so you like cry a lot more. And there's a lot of existential dread. And then you get really confused because they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what do you mean these characters are doing this? Why? Wait, hold on. Hold on. And then, you get really happy, you get really depressed, but you're like happy that you finished it because it's so like long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing story that like, oh, I love it so much. So I'm gonna go over the question and answer arcs for this one too. So these ones don't have like the hard names for me to pronounce. So the first question arc or the first chapter is Legend of the Golden Witch, which chief on the agenda concerns the struggle of the inheritance assets of the ailing family head Kinzo. But as the family is trapped on the island by a typhoon, they receive a letter claiming to be from the rumored witch of the island, Beatrice, Beto, and mysterious events begin to occur. So the family arrives, typhoon happens, they can't leave, and supposedly there's a supposed witch, whatever that means, that's like, they get a letter from this supposed witch, and they're like, what the fuck? And then like weird stuff starts happening, you know, like lights start turning off in the house, you know, like they're hearing voices at night, you know, like kind of like a haunted house.
Ooh.
And then the chapter 2 is Turn of the Golden Witch. Following the events of the Tea Party in Legend of the Golden Witch, this episode develops a confrontation between Battler and Beatrice, which isn't a spoiler, they're both main characters, who each try to disprove others' position regarding the existence of magic. So that's the thing with Umineko, is that they, first and foremost, there's something supernatural happening. Whereas like Higurashi's very like, is it? Is there? Isn't there? This is like, no, there's like supernatural shit going on. Like, we're not beating around the bush. Like, there's witches, there's bitches, rich people. Like, so in this arc, we're like our main character, Battler. He is like fighting against this witch lady, Beatrice, and they're arguing between like, are you real? Like, you're a fucking liar. Like, what are you doing on my island? Like, you don't live here. This is my uncle's, you know. And she's like, bitch, I'm a witch. Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I'll kill you. And they have like a rivalry almost. They're like enemies. So, and then it leads into the third chapter, which is Banquet of the Golden Witch. And this episode continues the battle between Battler and Beatrice, with the events on the island having a special focus on Eva Oroshima, which is one of the members of the family.
I was like me.
No.
I just had the same thought. I was like, that's so cool.
I was like, Ava, what?
Oh god, that'd be fucking cool if you were in here.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
imagine.
So Battler's debate against magic is further complicated by the introduction of new witches and demons now. So Battler is like grappling with the fact that because he's just some dude, some rich fucking guy from fuck knows where in Japan. And so he's battling with the idea of like, I don't think you're real to this Beatrice lady. Like, I don't think you're real. I don't think any of this is real. I think you guys are fucking with my family. Like, I think this is like, where's Ashton Kutcher? You know, this is a fucking prank. But then these new witches, which are, like I said, witches are a thing, and like demons and stuff start showing up, which once again isn't a spoiler. They start just showing up and like, cause they're all like sentient, they all can talk. And so they start like conversing and like playing little like tricks. And he's like, I don't believe any, he's like, he has his head in the sand. He's like, I don't want to hear it. You know, like you know that like monkey like thing where it's like he has like his like the hands over his ears and then over his eyes, like no speak no evil, hear no evil.
Yeah.
That he's doing that.
Oh.
And then the last chapter in the question arcs is the Alliance of the Golden Witch, which this chapter introduces Badler's sister Ange, Ange. She's like a big character. She's also a main character as a secondary protagonist. So she's like, we're not in Badler's perspective, we're in her perspective. So we hop between those two. Sometimes we hop between to Beatrice's. So those three are like our titular like protags. Who was absent from the 1986 family conference, and was taken in by Ava.
Not Ava, but Ava.
Yeah, not Ava, but Ava.
Yeah.
And she was the only survivor of a mass murder that happened on that island to that family. So Badler's sister was the only one who survived. Or no, Ava was the only one who survived a mass murder that happened on that family. To that family on that island. I know. I'm so
sorry. I'm
here.
gonna keep making this joke.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So at the end of the Golden Witch, there's a character named Lambda Delta. Won't say what she is. Won't say who she is, but she's cute and she's kind of bratty, and she's kind of silly and a little stinky. So there's a thing called games in this. I can't really get into what games are, but they are very big and important to this like series. So games are like kind of like higher beings playing like chess with people's lives in a like kind of like that.
Okay.
So this Lambda Delta girl takes over as game master following I can't say whose defeat. I put spoilers just to be safe. At the end of the previous arc, while another witch takes primary control of like humans. So humans become almost like pawns in this towards the like we learn that like witches are a thing and like demons are a thing, and how this family just wanted to get fucking money from their dead uncle or dad or whatever. And it turns out like there's like so much more happening like behind the scenes. And it turns out like these witches are like bigger and powerful than like anybody could ever imagine. And obviously they're like all over the place, but like we're only specifically talking about like contained to this island, right? So like Beatrice, for example, she's a really big and powerful witch. She just kind of pretends she isn't because she kind of likes being an asshole. Really snarky, really full of herself. Most of the witches are kind of like really full of themselves because they're like supernatural beings. They're almost like gods in a way. Like, I would consider them like demigods, where they have powers, but you can kill them and stuff. But they have the ability to, like, control people or, like, change the fate of the specific person or just fate in general if you're really, really powerful. So, and then we lead into the dawn of the Witch, which, having become... So, in this specific chapter, because like Higurashi, there are timelines. Like Higurashi, like I said, Kiichi jumped back in time to save Satoko. Similar to this, there's like timelines and time jumping. So Battler, in this specific timeline, he becomes a game master to like kind of fight against the witches because he realized how like fucked they are, because they're really fucked up. Not in like a violent way like Higurashi. They like to manipulate humans and like animals and beings because fuck you, I can, kind of thing. It's like it's their games, you know, it's their entertainment.
So people are just playthings in this?
Yeah, humans are just playthings, yeah. The humans can become witches, but you have to go through a rigid, like, you have to either be born, like, with, like, the powers and you get it later on, or you become one and it's like a really rigid, you have to be chosen, you have to be picked, you have to become, like, I think it's like Mito. You essentially become a pet for a witch. While becoming one, you become a pet. Yeah. And the bigger witch can be like, I want you dead, and then you die, you know? Or I want you to kill that person. I don't really care about your ties, and you have to do it, you know? So, and then we lead into the Requiem of the Golden Witch, which is, this episode presents an alternate reality where Battler does not come to Rokkenjima, so he doesn't show up. He doesn't arrive. The Golden Witch does not exist, and a mysterious child named Lion is now the designated successor of the Urushiromiya family. So, this chapter is an alternate universe where Battler is like still in Japan, like he's still in Japan, but he's like still in the big city. He's like fucking around. And then this like Beatrice lady does not exist. She's gone. She fucked off. She's just not around. But there's this lion character, whoever the fuck that is suddenly in this family when we don't. This person was never in any of the other chapters. They just appear in this like alternate universe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final chapter to Umineko is the Twilight of the Golden Witch, which is this final episode focuses on Anj, who is in her quest to discover the truth behind the events of Rokkenjima mass murder, and is given the chance to go to Rokkenjima as a 6-year-old battler. So we get more time fucky wucky, more time shenanigans. She goes as her brother to like go and like learn the truth about what happened on the island, what caused all of these things to occur, why is everybody so like weird, what the fuck is a witch, you know, like actually what is a witch, not like what we already know. And so she goes in the body of her brother, because her brother is battler. She goes in the body of him when he's 6, because that's when the mass murders happened, is when he was 6. So she like possesses his body and goes to like
wild.
learn. It's fucking wild. So these are our titular bad bitches. This is Battler. He does the Ace Attorney pose in the visual novel. It's really... This is Beatrice. She's so hot. I love her.
I love her dress.
I love her dress so much.
She looks sassy as fuck.
She
Looks
is.
like
She's
a bitch, but in a good way.
She is. She's a big bitch. She does the like oh ho ho laugh. You know.
Good old like
Oh, I love myself some good Joe-sama.
She's a good. She's an Joe-sama. And then this is Battler's sister Anj. She's kind of like stern, kind of like, you know, like the serious one. She used to be happy a bunch, and then, you know, her whole family was killed. And then she was like, I'm not really happy about that no more. Those mass murders, they don't make you smile. So these are our titular bad bitches. Any other character, there are other main characters, but if I were to show them, it would, like I said, would spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are our titular 3 protagonists. These are our main protags. So like Higurashi, I have the cycle. So the question arc, a massive family comes together to deal with the death of the head of their family's assets. Weird things start occurring. And then witches are discovered, which the existence of magic and witches is tested, and Battler has to deal with his existence and what it means in the grand scheme of things. So it's really existential in the sense of he has to really like take himself out of the picture and like learn about like the bigger picture of everything, not just like, because he's kind of a self-centered prick. It's kind of his character, because like I said, rich guy, gets all the ladies because he's really attractive, kind of like that kind. He's young, so he's like really like into himself, and so this whole like 2 days like takes him out of like everything, you know. He's like, whoa, maybe I'm not the center of the universe type thing. And so the answer arcs are Battler and Anj have to clean up the mess that their family made whilst tracking generations of familial trauma and loving someone regardless of what happened. So Umineko's like, I guess the entire theme is loving your family and who you are, and recognizing that your trauma that your family gave you doesn't have to be your trauma, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because your family has this grave incident that happened doesn't mean that you have to carry that burden forever. It's kind of like helping, you know, like moving on from the past type thing, you know, and loving who you want to love regardless of what happens, you know, and you're worthy of that, essentially. And then this is my final thoughts, is that you should really play these games, like really because they're amazing. They're so well written. I guess if you want to play first, it doesn't matter, but I guess because I will say, without spoiling, there is a very specific character in Higurashi. Well, there's 2, but there's a titular character in Higurashi who has massive connections to Umineko. So you should probably play Higurashi first if you want like a lighter read. But there's a character, like I said, who exists in Higurashi who has so much importance to a very big character in Umineko that it's like crazy. So I think you should play Higurashi first. If you give a fuck, you don't really have to play them first, but just know that that character will impact your playing time of Umineko a little bit once you get towards the end and you see insert character. But yeah, that's my PowerPoint. Does anybody have any questions? I went crazy. I'm so sorry.
No,
No,
you're
I
fine.
think
No,
I
you
should,
explained it well.
So
I think I
Umineko.
should play this game. That's what I got from this PowerPoint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alba?
Is Umineko less gory? You were saying?
Yeah, it is less gory.
Okay, because I love like the story because I like how the lore and how like fucky wucky it is in Higurashi, but sometimes it's like that's a bit much when it comes to the gore side of it.
Umineko is a lot less gory, more of the mystery thriller. Like there is like element, like I said, there is a mass murder. We don't see it; it's just talked about. But like, there's no brutal, not grotesque, but there's no brutal violence like there is in Higurashi. It's just this happened, and we're ace attorneying it almost until
Yeah, because you know how Higurashi gets. You're kind of like, oh, okay,
Yes.
then this is fine. It's not fine, but it's fine.
This is fun. I love seeing people get murdered in brutal ways. Like,
Yay, death.
yay! But like I said, Umineko is amazing. I love it more. I love it more than Higurashi because I think Higurashi, there's a lot of gore. It makes sense when you know about what's going on, but when you don't know, it's like jarring almost. Like even in the anime, what happens to Satoko is like, oh my god, like calm down, girl. Like, but I think if you don't like gore, then I recommend Umineko because it's also heavy on the characters. So it's like so long that you like have to be focusing on your characters because it's like I said, longer than the fucking Bible. Like if I be, to compare it, it's a big fucking boy. But if you want, like I said, lighter read with gore than Higurashi. If you want like a heavier read but with more like character development and less violence but more like fucky wucky supernatural shit, then Umineko is your way to go. But both are amazing and well written. I haven't started his new series, Syconia, but it's in this When They Cry universe. I just haven't picked it up yet. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions, you just let me know.
Chat, do you have any questions? Go ahead, chat.
Yeah, you can ask me anything.
New game to play on stream. Hey, I've played part of this on stream like years ago at this point. It's the hard thing about playing it on stream, like any visual novel, is there's so much like text and there's no voice. So you're like, I have to voice like 10 different characters. You're like, shit, that's a lot of talking.
Oh, I know, especially with like Umineko. Oh my god, there's so many characters. It's crazy. Higurashi isn't as extreme because you only get really like the main 5, and then you get the side characters, but they're not like that big. It's like Umineko. There's like at least 20 of them. It's big.
Okay. Voicing 2 or more characters is hard because you're like, wait, whose voice am I doing? Wait, who is this?
Exactly. Like who?
You need
But
like
yeah,
a whole
no-
group of people for it.
Right. You said Umineko. Yeah, they are in the same. Wait, did Umineko and Higurashi have a character in common? Yes, they are in the same. They are in the same universe. They share a universe. They, like I said, this Higurashi. Higurashi
so-
happens.
Well, I was gonna say timeline wise, Higurashi happens first, yeah?
Yes, but. Ooh. There are
shit.
No, there's a character in Umineko that caused Higurashi to happen.
Oh.
What?
So
Time bullshit.
because time bullshit. Like I said, the witches are essentially like gods. So if a witch says, like I said, there's this game element where the witches are like, I want to play with humans as pawns.
Sounds fun.
So a witch was like, what if this happened? this time period in this village. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the characters within Higurashi, there are two titular characters I'm thinking about who are bigger than the village and like I said, are big in Umineko. But what's happening in Umineko what's happening in Higurashi is because of Umineko, despite Umineko, like, the events, like, of the family meeting, because Kinzo died, are, like, happened, like, these witches have existed for, like, thousands of years. So, what happens in Higurashi happens because of Umineko, and what we're seeing is just another event in, like, the main event in this game, I guess you could say. Game within a game. Gameception.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why I'm like, you should probably read Higurashi first, just to, like, kind of step your toes into it, and then you take on Umineko, which, like, explains everything. You know, they don't, like, say Higurashi by name. They don't name Hinamizawa, but it's like, if you know, you know type thing, you know?
Mm.
Like, you read it and you're like, I know what that is. I know who you are. Type thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, gory in the sense of not, like, guts flying. And the visual novel doesn't show it. There's no CGs or anything, because the visual novel is really old. So if you don't want to see any of the gore, I recommend just playing the visual novel, because you don't see... It's written descriptions, but you don't see any of the gore.
Yeah.
It's more of just, like, stabby.
Baseball bat.
Baseball bat beating you with a baseball bat, stabby type thing, rather than, like, guts and stuff. You don't really, even in the anime, you don't...
I was gonna say in
You
the anime
never-
there's a lot of blood, but
But there's not, like, guts or anything. It's not like Elfen Lied or something in terms of, like, gore. It's just bloody.
the descriptions are very graphic.
Yeah, they're very graphic. So it's just, if you're sensitive to, like, blood in particular, and, like, I guess murder, and you see the murder rather than, like, it being like in Umineko's case where it's like, just, this is an event that happened in the past and we're talking about it, but if you don't want to see it or, like, read it while it's happening, then I recommend just sticking with Umineko and just, like, reading the wiki for Higurashi, or I guess watching clips if you want. But if you, like, don't care, then play the game, or I guess watch the anime, but it's a really bad adaptation. Oh, and the reason why I don't like, because you asked, Ava, the reason I don't like Go is because it's like Diet Umineko. So the characters in Go are very important to Umineko, and they kind of it's just Umineko with Higurashi slapped on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so
'Cause I
I'm
know
like,
they
well, at that
changed a
point...
lot of it from the original.
Yeah, so I'm like, at that point, just, you know, just fucking remake the Umineko anime. Don't do it bad again, please. Yeah, stabby bonk bonk, timey-wimey bullshit. Yeah, that's essentially what both of these games fall under. Timey-wimey stab bullshit. But yeah, that was my presentation.
Thank you.
Of course. Let me stop screen sharing. There you go.
I think that means next is Kira.
How do I follow that? I was like, I nerded, and then you were like, did you?
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. That was great. That was very in depth. I was like very impressed.
Thank you.
Oh, I should probably share the screen, huh?
Yeah, now I gotta move everybody around. You can go here
Okay.
and where the
Voila. Wait.
Oh.
what?
Kira, you have to be really short. Oh my god, hold on. You've got like a bar at the bottom of you for some reason. Hold on. Let me fix that. There. I'm just gonna.
Sorry.
There
I'm
we
causing
go.
problems.
I fix it as best I can. Your hands are.
That's
Can
okay.
you move yourself up a little, actually, so your hands aren't cut off?
Oh yeah. Sorry. One sec. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on.
I was
Oh,
trying
God.
to make sure you weren't like dismembered. I'm sorry.
No. You're fair and valid. I'm just spacing out super hard on like how to set up my screens right now. There we go. Okay.
Dave
What do you
was out
need?
here taking people's hands.
I was hungry. Okay, I had a hunger that
Where do
only
you need
hands could satisfy. I'm sorry.
Is this okay? Do you need more?
I will remove your tail. There. Now you're. Well,
Okay, great.
you're still slightly floaty, but it's it's fine. Question mark.
I can give you more if you want. Do you
Well,
want
all
more?
of you, obviously.
All right, that's fine. I'll give you more.
We can make this work, guys. We can. We've got the technology.
There.
There. Now we've got all of
There.
Kira. Thank
See?
you. Thank you. You're
I can
beautiful.
give you all of me. Okay. Hi. I know I'm big. This is the reason why I couldn't be in the group with everyone else. I'm too big.
Big gal.
Big.
I'm a big girl. All right, there we go. Do that and change this out. Cover that. Okay. All right. Hi again, everyone. My name is Calamity Kira. I'm your resident Twitch Yanti Auntie, and for anyone who doesn't know what a Yanti is, I'm not going to be talking about that today. So just think Naga or Lamia, and that's what I am. But D&D branded.
Woo.
Today, I am talking to you about why your life is better with Dungeons and Dragons. I do not have any fancy taglines, as I realize now that I probably should have had one, but that's the fancy tagline. Your life is just better with Dungeons and Dragons. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that Dungeons and Dragons can be very intimidating. It's a fairly large game. It started in 1974 by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. It was published by Tactical Studios Rules Incorporated. Since 1974, the game has grown and developed and been reshaped, reimagined. It's basically the world's, in my opinion, my very humble, completely unbiased opinion, best story. If you want to be a part of a story, if you want to create a story, if you want to be in charge of your own fantastical imagination, D&D is definitely the place to be. It does feel a little scary when you think about the sheer number of things you need to do. It's there's thinking about spells, actions, bonus actions. You have to think about what you want to be, even what class and race, all of the traits that how they work together. If you think about something like what's the best comparison? If you've ever played any of the not Bloodborne. Bloodborne's a game. What are they called?
Like Souls-like?
FromSoft.
Souls-like. Thank
Souls-like.
you. Yes. If you've ever played a Souls-like game, or if you've ever watched someone play a Souls-like game, there is things that kind of build on each other. You know, you can take certain feats that up your abilities and make you an even stronger, better, sneakier, deadly fighter or healer, or, you know, all these things. It does take some time. However, in my experience, it's been super fun to learn on the fly with friends. So if you're thinking about getting into D&D and you don't know where to start and you don't have any friends that play, there are actually some sites. Start Playing, I think it's startplaying.com, is actually a site where a bunch of people can come together and you can meet other people who want to play Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone is at different levels of skills and abilities, and you don't need to be the world's best D&D player to play with other D&D players. So it's really just about, do you want to explore your own imagination of what you could do if you were a elven warlock? If you wanted to cast spells and hit things really hard and you really wanted to be an elf your whole life, well, now's your chance, because you have the opportunity to explore your own imagination and the imagination of the friends around you to create an incredible story. Some of the pros of D&D is, again, like I was saying, imagination. If you don't feel like you have a super strong imagination, you don't need to. There is someone called the DM or GM, a game master or a dungeon master. The dungeon master is in charge of essentially starting your journey. They'll paint the picture for you. Think of them as the author of the book. But instead of reading a book as so linear as it's already written, it's more like pick a path, where your decisions and your actions will change the course of the story. And the DM or GM works with you to create the story based off of the actions of you and your other party members. It's it's a cooperative game. You're working with your friends in order to reach a goal, have experiences, and don't forget, a lot of people do. The DM is your friend too. Yes, they play characters that want to kill you. Yes, they probably are the reason that your parents have been murdered. Also, they'll probably try to kill one of your party members that you've spent so long, or even you, that you've spent so long attaching yourself to this character. And if you end up getting dead and you have to create a new character, please remember your DM and your GM is still your friend.
That's a little death between friends, right?
Exactly.
When I was young, my first DM was my uncle. And my character had I've actually started my my Dungeons and Dragons experience when I was 12 years old. No, I lied. I was 5 years old, and I was rolling the dice for my uncle, who was the DM for my parents. And I rolled really, really well, and I wasn't allowed to roll for the DM as a child anymore. And as an adult, I can understand why. The RNG was too high in my 5-year-old fingers, so I wasn't allowed. Understandable. So when I was a teenager, I had an animal companion with my very first character. And I've always, ever since I was a little girl, I have always wanted a dog. So naturally, when I had the opportunity to have an animal companion to walk beside me, I loved my Timberwolf animal companion that I called Allie. And after 2 years, 2 years of life, like real life of playing this game, my dog died in a fight.
Oh no.
When I tell you, my real life tears were soaking that table. I was actually really sad. Nope, don't hurt the dog. I'm so sorry. Spoiler, it happened. So sorry. My dog died. I was very, very sad. But like that kind of stuff happens, right? Like you'll get into fights that you're outmatched for. You'll make decisions and they'll be wrong. There is no winning and there is no losing D&D. The only time you ever win D&D is when you make your DM die from cringe from your decision. That is when you win.
Love that.
Now, problem solving is another really great pro. This is something that I actually had a lot of fun with when I was thinking of the pros, because every single time I wrote out every time I wrote out a thing, I was like, for the record, y'all can put some of this on your resume. You can learn working together, problem solving, time management, improve mental math, and deepen relationships with others. And that shit can go on your resume. If you've never held a retail job before, and you'll develop these skills playing D&D. Trust me. So the sense of community is kind of what I was talking about. Problem solving is another part of it. Like if you're in a fight and you're trying to make a decision and you don't know what to do, your actions affect others. So you cannot act as if you were the only person in your party. If you're a healer, you need to be focusing on how much damage everyone around you is taking without knowing their exact stats. It's like if you're out with adventuring with your friends, they don't have a health bar above their head like a video game. You have to just look at them and see their damage. But because this is an imaginative game, you need to kind of take note if your fighter is taking a lot of damage in the front lines. If your ranger has been attacked long distance, you need to know and keep in mind if they're taking a lot of heat and help them out. And if you're a fighter, you need to be aware of if the squishy characters, i.e. your supports, are being targeted, and go after the people that are hurting them. You know what I mean? It's a very, your decisions affect the actions of, like, your actions affect others. So cooperation, a sense of community. And then that includes the problem solving. So you cannot just decide that you're just going to go in like hit, smack, bang, boom. And by the way, your clerics just died behind you and they were being snuck up on and no one bothered to check if the cleric was okay. Like, and now you're all going to die because you've got no one to revive you if you go down. So womp womp.
The poor cleric.
Womp, womp.
Right? Actually, I say cleric, but really, let's be honest, for anyone who knows, it's typically the wizard. They're super squishy.
Yeah.
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 They're just back there like, why aren't you using spells to protect us? I've been dead for like 3 rounds. What are you talking about?
Right? It's like you guys have been all looking at your sheets, looking at your spells, looking at your actions, thinking of what to do next. And you didn't hear the DM say roll your death save, and they failed. For the record, just really quickly, if you roll 3 death saves and you fail 3 times, you die, and you have to re-roll your character.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a new spell that you can be brought back to life, but that is a lot. We will go over that another day. So that's kind of leads me to time management. You need to be thinking about what your next action is going to be, but you have to be paying attention to the table around you. Your DM is going to have a turn because they're, of course, going to use the creatures that are attacking you to continue to attack. Your party members are going to make decisions to help fend these things off or help their friends out. But when it's not your turn, you can't just zone out. You got to be locked in. So you got to be thinking about what's happening, what's going to be next. And it does help kind of multitask. For anyone who's not really good at multitasking, you quickly learn because it's an immersive thing. It's like if you're playing a video game and you see, like, for example, Final Fantasy, right? You're controlling 4 characters on a turn-based game. It's pretty much the same thing, except instead of controlling everyone's actions, you're controlling your own actions. So imagine if you're playing Final Fantasy and Tifa, Aerith, and why did I say Barlet? Barlet, no? Barrett. Oh
Barrett.
my gosh. Someone cancel me right now. Tifa, Aerith, and Barrett are controlled NPCs by a system. And you only control Cloud. You'd have to be paying attention to what Tifa, Aerith, and Barrett are doing on their turns. Same thing. Improved mental math. So it's not like algebra or calculus or super or anything intense. It's like 17 plus 8, which is not difficult, but when all of your friends are staring at you and you're trying to do it quickly because you're stressed out because you're about to die, and if you don't get this hit, then you're gonna die. 17 plus 8 suddenly feels like 170 divided by 2 plus 9, extract maybe 7 points for fun, and what's the answer? So it can be, but you do get better over time. My mental math actually legitimately did increase significantly the more I played D&D. You get to deeper relationships.
Gotten any better.
To be fair, I was watching a live D&D campaign, and there's this one person on their D&D campaign that is so bad at mental math that they created a soundboard of all of their friends in secret. They did this in secret. They created a soundboard of all their friends harmonizing the Laura's bad at math. They played it one time. It made me
Well,
laugh.
what great
Oh my
friends.
God.
That's-
I love
I
that.
love friends.
And that brings us to deepening relationships. So obviously you spend a significant amount of time with people. You're going to be problem solving together. You're going to be working together. You're going to be creating these intense memories. Some characters are even going to fall in love with each other. Other characters are going to have families in these stories. Others are going to have a dog that may pass away and you have to comfort them. So it creates this sense of community, camaraderie, some like a second family. And in my experience, I feel that because I have spent so much of my time growing up playing D&D with my family and having these own experiences, because like my very first campaign group was my older sister, my sister's best friend, my parents, and my uncle was our DM. We built insanely ridiculous and silly memories. One of our favorites is quoting my older sister, who was playing an elven ranger at the time. She was playing an elven fighter at the time. And we were tasked to save a village of humans from being possessed. And she started hacking at them, like cutting them in half and killing them and stuff like that. And I said, no,
Dang.
we're supposed to be saving them. And she said, humans breed like bunnies, it's fine. And it was at that moment we were like, is that Is that my sister talking, or is that the character? We can't tell.
Oh
You were just breathe like bunnies. It's fine. That's
Fine.
my favorite D&D quote ever.
Quickly become one of mine. I would like to point out, I was 13, she was 14.
Oh,
my
wow.
god.
That makes
You
it
find
even
out a
better.
lot of things about your friends and what
Right.
they're capable of.
My mother across the table is looking at her like, did that just come out of my daughter's mouth?
It's fine. Just a little murder.
It's a little murder amongst family. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. My uncle lost his shit. I was just kind of wide-eyed and bug-eyed, and I was like, "The fuck you just say? What the hell?" Oh my god! But yeah, so it definitely creates this. I feel a deep sense of concern, but connection to my family now that we've all played D&D together. And every single time I play D&D with a new group, I feel closer and closer to them every single time we make new and funny memories, because it's like, it's so hard, especially in today's world, to go out and have adventures. And with the invention and the creation and the development of technology as we see it today, you can sit in a call with 4 friends talking about games and Omegaverses and D&D,
Yeah.
and all be from different places and time zones, and you can feel closer to people you've never seen before in your life than you can be with someone down the road. And that's what D&D allows you to do. It allows you to create those adventurous memories with people who could be from any walk of life, any part of the world. You don't need to be super rich to play D&D. You don't need to be someone who's got every single book ever made. You don't have to be the most well-versed individual ever in D&D lore, culture, education, anything. You can just have an excitement and a passion for wanting to make memories with people, and that's all you need to do to start. Everything else can be learned. And that's why I love it. I have goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps. I love this game so much. It's like,
It's a great
I
game.
just had
It
a chill up
is.
my spine. Okay. And I saved the very best 2 things for last. You get pretty dice.
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure you should put that on
True.
there because I'm just saying, dice addiction is
Yeah.
Dice
We
goblin.
have, for anyone who doesn't know what Quality Street chocolates are, it's a company where it has like a bunch, like it's very popular in Canada where I'm from. And there are these like random like different types of chocolates, like strawberry, caramel, etc., etc., etc. The reason I'm bringing it up is because there's like these like average sized chocolate tins, and my mom loves them. So every year for Christmas we have Quality Streets, and once we empty out the tin, we fill it with dice.
Oh,
I
so
love that.
cute.
That's amazing.
That's really sweet.
Yes, I also eat
Mhm.
Quality Street. It's great for Christmas.
Hell yeah, right? So good. So Christmas time, we get slapped in our house with a ton of Quality Street chocolates, and then once the chocolate's all gone, there goes more dice. Like we
Dice
have several Quality Street tins full of dice. So a dice addiction is a real thing. However, they're pretty, so what's it matter? Plus,
Yes.
it's
fun.
They're
cheaper
an
than
ornament. They're decoration.
Mhm.
right, cheaper than most video games and drugs, so it doesn't matter.
It is much cheaper than drugs.
So, and then finally, hot characters. Oh my
Ayy.
god.
Yeah.
Guys,
Wow,
the only
hot
limit of
characters
the
in a
hotness
D&D
of the
game?
character of your character is your imagination.
Mhm.
Make yourself super sexy if you wanna. Make yourself look like a boil, like a rotten boil. Doesn't matter. Be whatever you want to be. It's very exciting. Speaking of hot
Mhm.
characters, Tiamat.
Oh.
Cons of D&D. So obviously there's not a single one. There's none. I really don't know why you're still trying to find one. Tiamat. This is older art, by the way, art of Jacques Sion, just as you can see at the bottom of the image there. But yes, Tiamat, 5-headed dragon. Hello, what do you?
Oh.
Okay, it does
Ayo.
take a minute to learn, like I said, but you can learn it. Maybe that's the one con. Maybe, only maybe. That's a big maybe. But for your sake, so you weren't like, oh my god, Kira, no cons at all. Oh my god. I'm like, okay, well maybe there's one just for your sake, but really there's none, so don't worry about it. Now look at the beautiful,
believe
look at the
in this
beautiful
woman.
woman.
Like the hot lady. Hot
Yeah.
dragon lady, yes please.
Look at the sexy dragon lady standing in front of Tiamat. Oh my god. What about finding a good group? Now, I did bring that up earlier. So yes, finding a good group can be a little bit of a struggle. Not a con. Trust. You can always find, so when you're starting out with D&D, like I said, there are sites, if you don't have many friends that currently play D&D, there's a site called Start Playing, and it's become really popular because one of the great things about it is that you have the opportunity to, not obligatory, meet some people, get a group together, run a couple sessions, and if it doesn't work out, you can just leave the session. No problem, no hurt feelings, no anything like that. It's a completely open space for people who just want to play D&D and just want to learn how to play the game, but they don't have any friends that they're able to play with in their immediate vicinity or in their immediate circle. And so many people that I know who have started playing D&D through Start Playing have created like friendships that feel more solid than anything they've ever experienced by getting to know them through playing D&D. Now, I think if we're thinking about cons that are kind of hard to control, it's your own patience with yourself to learning the game. It can be on the outside looking in at how large the scope is of this game because there's so many different types. There's like something called homebrews, which basically means the DM makes a couple changes to the rules based off of what they want to write for their story for you. And you can go over all of that stuff with your other player friends and your DM. It is a lot when you think about it as a whole. But if you look at it for its parts, thinking about telling a story, being a part of a story, working with friends, cooperation, patience for yourself, for your teammates, because people are going to make bad decisions. I made a ton of horrible decisions. I put an entire hail and ice and snowstorm in a 10-foot by 10-foot cave where my entire party was currently fighting for their lives.
No.
Great decision.
I
Depends
did
on
not
what your
read.
Oh,
Made a
Well,
choice.
I didn't read how big my spell was, and I didn't read that it would encompass the entire area.
Oh no.
That's cold. Nice. That's a funny joke. But yes, so I've made some horrible decisions, and that decision led to a huge plot point in our story where we ended up getting kidnapped by a pirate captain and sold off into slavery, and we had to break out of it. It was a like 3 or 4 session long plot turn, and it was my fault. So things happen, you know, you'll make mistakes. Your friends are going to make mistakes. The DM's going to murder your dog and it's going to piss you off. But as long as you have patience for the situations and for yourself and for your friends and understand at the very end of the day, it is a game. We are here to create memories, do silly things, have fun. You're going to leave a session or two feeling frustrated. You're definitely going to cry. And you're going to have sessions where you feel so elated, like you've done the coolest shit in the world. Like I stole an opal from a sleeping dragon's hoard while my party members slept by wild shaping in, making a ton of stealth checks, making a really, really tough, really high level sleight of hand check, and then stealthing back out, and then we left. And then we avoided a really huge conflict with a big dragon, and we leveled up that day. So I've made
That's
some really great
amazing.
decisions, and I've really made some
Nice.
horrible decisions.
Mhm.
But it can be really
No.
fun. Now, I also know that there is a ton of classes. Races are another thing. That would be another PowerPoint for another day. But there are a bunch of classes. In the 5e version that I usually like to play, there are 12. Technically 13 if you include the Artificer class, but a lot of people have some really weird things to say about the Artificer class in the D&D world. So we're just not going to go on that one today, and we'll talk about it another day. Because
Some people are
get
gonna be super pissed.
I know. But I love you all, but I would love to tell you that Artificer class is very cut and dry, but so many people have so many like, oh, Artificer class is just like a gun gale. It's like, no, it's not. It's a ton of other things. You can do so much with the Artificer class. But for today, we're going to talk about the very basic 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, okay, 12. I can math. See, I can math. It took some time, but we got here.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. We're going to talk about the 12 basic classes for today. This is a very quick description of what the classes are. So we'll start off with our fighters. So our fighters they're a strong tank. They're pretty much between them and a paladin. They're the only ones who can wear heavy armor in the game. You can dual wield. You can hit, like, you can hold great swords. They're usually the ones in the front line, which is why I said hit, stab, smack, kick. They're the ones who are definitely putting out as much as they possibly can in terms of heavy damage. And then if you go to our barbarians can be really fun. So barbarians are a little chaotic. They can do what's called rage, which will give them an extra attack. But also when they rage, they get advantages, but then they also get, like, other people get advantages to hit them, because it's like if you're in a rage, you're not paying attention. You're just going after something that's pissing you off and you want to beat it up and you want to knock it down. So that means because you're not paying attention, other creatures have the advantage to hit you as well. But you're a tank as well, just like a fighter, so even if you get hit, you usually have a ton of hit points to take it. Going on to the bard. Bards confused me for the longest time.
Really?
Only because I love bards, but I was like, so why do we need Michael Bublé in a party?
Oh,
I always
don't
play
mind
bards,
so I don't take that as an insult.
No, it's not an insult. It was a confusion. It could have been Michael Bublé. It could have been Avril Lavigne. Could have been, I was like, why do we need? And then I read about the bard class. They're super great for support. They've actually got really cool attacks, and they fucking sing, which is sick. I love that. I think they're really fun. They're usually really horny on main, like all the time.
No,
if you point me,
call me out.
most of them.
Okay, fair.
Point me to a bard that isn't horny on main, and I will look for flying pigs.
I will make this bard. I will make it. Don't worry.
My bard is not horny on main.
Mine is.
My current one isn't. I have had horny bards in the past, though.
My current one isn't.
No,
I go through the horny, and now we're here.
she's got a lot of trauma. She's lost too much shit.
One of my favorite things about bards is that they again, the horny on main thing. One of my favorite things about bards is that they're typically, they're super high in charisma. So when it comes to diffusing a situation, more often than not, I have seen so many bards seduce the enemy into being chill in order to get through a fight.
It's a valid tactic.
The number of times I've seen a bard seduce a dragon is, if I had a nickel, there'd be more than 10, is all I'm saying.
Oh, they succeeded or they tried?
Oh, they succeeded.
Oh,
Their
nice.
charisma gets super high.
They got
But
like
it's
20
really
charisma.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. They start off with a really high charisma stat, and then of course there's opportunities to grow your charisma stat as the games go on. Paladins, I can see why people love them a lot. I'm not a big paladin fan, but that's only because they're they're super lawful. They have an oath to a deity, and they need to follow that oath pretty much to the letter of that law. If you break your oath, then you become an Oathbreaker Paladin, and there's a whole bunch of things that kind of go with that, which makes it a little hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes, because then I'm like, well, what does it mean to break your oath? And then when you start looking into it, it can be a little complicated. But it can also be really fun to play a Paladin, because Paladins also hit like a motherfucker. If you get hit by a Paladin who currently still has their oath, it like hurts. You could be a fighter at the very front of the line and you're getting hit by an enemy paladin, your life is going to be reduced by half or more and that's like in the hundreds of your health. Divine Smite is so painful. I hated it.
It's so
It pissed me
useful.
off. It's so useful. If you're the one wielding it, if you get hit by it, it makes me want to mauled and pull my hairs out one at a time.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Thank you. Sorcerers can be really fun. Sorcerers are really about raw ability magic. They like magic. They're very good with dungeon crawls, and they're super great for buffing their own spells. Sorcerers, because it's like a raw innate talent for them, they have a connection with magic that's pretty much unparalleled. And it makes them really good for having a lot of attack heavy spells. Then you go into a warlock, and their magic comes from a patron. So whether it be for good or for evil, if they have a connection to a deity, the deity is the one who gives them their power. But the cool thing about a warlock is that you get a little bit of everything. You can be super high in charisma, which makes it so that you can talk your way out of a situation if you want to. And you can also use a lot of weapons, because warlocks are also kind of like magical fighters. And then warlocks, of course, get extra spells. One of my favorites being Eldritch Blast, which is basically just a big condensed necrotic power of pain hurled towards your face, which is super fun. Druids. Without being biased, this is the best. This is the best class.
Yes.
This is the best class. I'm giving you information about the other ones because it's fun, but like, say no more, Druids. Slightly kidding. Druids are really fun because they've got this super deep connection with nature, and they've got this really deep connection with also wildlife. One of the things that I super love about Druids is that not only do they usually get an animal companion if you wish to have one, but also you can wild shape into a creature yourself. Once you get up higher in the levels, this is the class for furries. Listen, you're not wrong. But also, you get to, which is what I was saying, wild shape into creatures, which is how I managed to sneak into an area because I was a giant owl, and owls get advantages on their stealth checks. So you can change into creatures that will aid your team. They have abilities to heal your team as well. I ended up being the team healer because I was a druid and there was no clerics. Clerics are they are like the healers people. But druids have the ability to have offensive and defensive and healing spells. They're a little bit of everything, but their connection is really strong with nature and wildlife. It's really fun if you're an animal lover. I used my first druid to dive heavily into herbology, which was actually super fun in my real life because I ended up learning a ton of things that allowed me to utilize more naturopath, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Herbalist? No.
Homeopathic,
yeah. I managed to learn a lot of homeopathic ways of healing natural, like, minor ailments. Things like headaches and joint pain, my allergies, etc., etc. I didn't want to rely on, like, medication, so being a druid young actually taught me a lot about herbology and how to mix things together. And then I ended up getting a real interest in real life, and now I use it to this day. I have different mixes of herbs and spices and essential oils that help me deal with my day-to-day ailments of an allergy to dust, mold, and just like seasonal allergies as they come up, and it helps me a lot.
That's so cool.
Which is really fun. Rangers they're typically a distance fighter, so that's why the image on it is a bow and arrow. Rangers also have a deep connection with nature, so they're really good with, closer to a connection with nature than specifically nature and animals like the druids. Rangers have a couple spells, not a whole lot, but they are usually ranged fighters, and they also have a deep connection with nature, which allows them to be really great trackers. So if you are trying to get somewhere even stealthily, they're super good at helping you get there stealthily, as well as finding your quarry. So that can be really helpful. Some of the changes they've recently made to the ranger class makes me want to be angry, but in general, a ranger is still a really great character to play, and because you can also take on different abilities that allow you to climb really easily, and it can be super fun to just climb to like the biggest, tallest tree, and then just snipe people like freaking Widow from Overwatch from above a tree, and then they get disadvantages to even finding you. So you could do heavy, heavy damage, and they could never see you, which is super fun. Clerics are what I was saying earlier, you're like main healers. They're super great at healing and buffing, making you faster and stronger and more resilient, and bring you back to life. They have the ability, there is a spell in the new, I don't remember it from when I was younger playing 3.5, but now that I'm on 5, there is a spell called Revivify, and it literally, when you're dead, if you have the physical components, you can bring your character back to life. So, when I lost my dog when I was 13, I could have had my dog back, but we did not have that spell, and we did not have a cleric. So, dead. Sadly. Druids do not have that ability. They cannot bring someone back to life from dead. They can bring someone up if they've been knocked down, but otherwise, clerics are the ones who are doing the heavy, life-giving, life-bringing. Monks are super fucking cool. Someday I want to play a monk.
Nice.
I called them the art of right hooks because that's literally the best way to describe what they are.
Because they just do a lot of punching, right?
They're
cool.
They're super cool. They literally just punch the shit out of you. They'll kick the shit out of you. They get abilities later on that allows them to run straight up walls. And they can fall from anywhere between, like, as long as it's under 60 feet or like 120 feet or something like that. They can fall and take 0 damage. They'll just be like, no. I'm not gonna get hurt. No fall damage for me. Which can be really freaking cool. They're basically the MMA fighters of D&D. They can take a hit and they can deliver a hit. They're also super slick and maneuverable, so they've got really great evasion. And they can knock you into next week and you'd never even know what hit you. Really, really fun. Now, if you like assassins, if you like hiding in the shadows, if the idea of being up in a tree like a ranger and just sniping people from far away was appealing to you, you may find yourself in the rogue territory. They are heavily on sneak. They are heavily on hide. And they can do insane sneak attack damage that will, well, assassinate someone. And they would actually never see it coming because by the time they realize something happened, they're already dead. Rogues can be really fun if you want to stay in the, like, a hidden assister of damage dealing and you don't want to be in the thick of the fight like a fighter or a barbarian or even a warlock. Lots of good from the shadow options with rogues. Actually, I'm just starting a rogue and I'm pretty excited about it. Now, finally, and certainly not least, for this list, there is wizards. I said fireball because they're
That's a
heavy
wizard.
heavy on the fireball. Yeah. There was something I was told once in my chat and it said there's no I in team, but there's at least 6 and I don't care how small the room is, I'm casting fireball.
I swear, at least once in every campaign that there's been a wizard, fireball gets cast in a room that fireball should not be cast in.
Yes.
Oopsies.
Yep.
Definitely wasn't me.
Are you sure? I feel like it was.
It might have been. To whom it may concern, fireball. That's
Yeah.
the best thing I've ever read. Second, maybe, to the other one I just said. Or maybe they're tied. I can't tell anymore. This is funny. Wizards are very squishy, but they're also really good with buffing out your friends. So the same thing like clerics, they have the ability to make you stronger, faster, more resilient. And they can help out your frontliners, and they can also help protect your squishy guys like themselves and your cleric. But also, they've got really great AoE, or area of effect spells, like, for example, Fireball, which can drop a lot of heavy damage in a big area. So if you're in an area and your DM says 30 orcs are crawling out of the woods, and before you know it, they're upon you, and all of a sudden your wizard casts Fireball as their reaction, they could wipe out half of them easily, depending on their level and depending on where they place the fireball. They could knock out quite a few of them quite quickly, which is really handy in a big fight like like wave fights. So for example, you'll have like 20 or so things on the field, and as you wipe them out, more and more keep coming, wave after wave after wave. Area of effect spells are really great for that, and wizards are typically super amazing. The big difference between wizards from sorcerers and warlocks is that wizards learn their spells by studying. They're incredibly studious. They need to open a book and read it and take time and lose sleep in some experiences in order to retain the information of the spell and learn a new spell. That is how wizards grow their power. They study. Which, for me, actually is very appealing because I love studying. So maybe I'll play a wizard someday. But I don't like being squishy, so I'm not sure. Now, how in the world you could still not be sure after all of this? I have created a quiz for you. There's a few questions. I'm not going to go over all of them. But essentially, I created this quiz out of my experiences with people and playing D&D. If you feel like there are certain ways you deal with stressful situations that can help me learn exactly what kind of class you should play. Speaking of, like, as well as, like, it's like random questions to kind of allow me to, based off your decisions, allow me to learn more about your personality and then lead you towards a direction that will help me choose a class for you. With that being said, if there, all right, Ava, if you would like to choose quickly, how do you deal with stressful situations?
E.
A, B, E? That's a great choice.
That's my
All
favorite
right, so
choice.
for anyone who cannot read it, just in case, E is I think of snakes. Lamias, Nagas, Yantis. You know what I'm talking about.
Maybe a particular
What would you do if you were
snake.
lost in the wood? Any particular snake? I mean, I can think of a 9.5-foot long black-tailed gorgeous one right now.
Yeah. Slithering around my mind.
Ava, what would you do if you were lost in the woods? A, B, C, or D?
I'm gonna go with E again. Maybe I'm just going the snake route.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's absolutely no, by the way, I'd just like to point out that I'm a professional and I would never, ever rig a questionnaire to help you choose your class, by the way. Just
Or
letting
choose
everyone
you.
know. Choose me like a Pokemon. So for anyone who cannot read, I just found the nearest snake and hang out with them. Nowhere else I'd rather be. So what
Get a
is your
hug from
comfort
them.
space? Oh yeah, they like look at this tail. Come on.
Obviously,
Like,
it's my comfortable space too. Just all wrapped up in the coils.
really? Okay. So anyone who cannot read, in case you haven't figured it out, snakes, just get me near the snakes.
I'm very
You are in
warm.
love.
I just want to say this. I'm very, very warm.
Very
warm.
Very warm. So you are in love. What are you gonna do about it? A, B, C, D, or E?
E. You know I love snakes. I love you after all.
And finally, to help me choose your class, why would you be in jail? A, B, C, D, or E?
I'm gonna go with E, but obviously it's because of snakes. Snakes got me here.
Snakes got me here. All right, so I created a color sheet, based off of the imagery that I showed you guys before. So every color you'll see on this answer key that every color is associated with a different class, and based off of the answers, you would have been directed towards a specific class. Ta-da! Everything is light green.
Oh my god. Is
Oh
that
my god, are we a druid?
Congratulations, you're a druid.
Oh
The
my
best class.
Does this make me a snake druid then?
Absolutely. E was the hidden. You get to be a Yanti as your race.
Hey yo.
Nice.
All right, now applaud. Thank you.
Yeah, congrats! Wait,
Yay.
woo! So good. Actually, really good. That was really, really good.
Thank you. I got a little passionate in the middle there. Circle forward.
I was like, am I listening to an inspirational speech? I feel like this is an inspirational presentation.
Really? You're inspired? Oh my god, are you inspired to play D&D?
I want to play
Perhaps
more
try to
D&D.
druid
play
class?
D&D, but
Yeah.
I'm more D&D.
Hell yeah, more D&D. Very in-depth
More.
guide intro. And you know what's funny, Neo Ninja? I actually I took out a lot. I put in a lot more and then I took it a lot out. I think I took out like half. I was like, I'm gonna reduce some of these slides.
Dang.
Oopsie.
But if anyone has any questions, specifically about, you know, why you should be a druid, I'm happy to answer those.
Druids are the best.
Actually, my first like D&D character was a elven druid, that was only a half a session that I tried, and then it never happened again until I then had my first real proper campaign, and that was not a druid. I'm sorry. That was
You
a
know
bard.
what? I will forgive you this one time, but I will not be hearing this heresy again.
I have a confession to make. I have 36 druids between World of Warcraft D&D play and table D&D play.
Holy shit.
Holy shit!
I have a slight addiction to druids.
Slight?
Well,
I think you need a better definition of the word slight, Momo.
No, but I think Kira's in love with you.
A little, yeah. I think I just got a little red. Oh, Lord.
I think my favorite druid is Druid of Prehistory, who is a troll. And I absolutely love playing her. She is my raunchiest of my druids.
I love that. My druid accidentally ended up sleeping with a dragon and
Accidentally.
becoming the mother of... No, it was an accident.
I've done that too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Accidentally went to a tavern. The woman that my friend's character was flirting with ended up going home with my druid and not her rogue.
Oh,
Damn.
Right?
Oh.
Because for anyone who doesn't know, in mythology, dragons can human shift. They have a basically humanoid form they can shift into. It allows them to blend in and keep their secret because dragons are so heavily sought after for their riches and their scales,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big sin. Because dragon hide is some of the toughest hide in pretty much any fantastical adventure. So dragons are pretty much heavily sought after for their hoards, because once you kill a dragon, you get their hoard, which can be a fuck ton of gold, a fuck ton of jewels. You will make money to survive your campaign the rest of your days if you empty out a dragon hoard. It's wild. But I am making and have been working on a real questionnaire, which I can release in the future through Twitter to actually help you
A
choose your
real
class that
one?
isn't a
Oh,
druid.
really? I'm so excited to see it. I'm definitely gonna take it.
Yay!
Mhm.
It's honestly like I'm making the questions and the answer key myself, and it's gonna be a little bit more than 5 questions. I think I'm gonna make it like 15. And it's gonna actually help you choose your class. I guess, other than a druid, I suppose.
All
If I must.
I'm picturing is, Oops All Berries cereal
Oops, all
boxes.
druids.
Yeah.
Only druids.
All druids. But
No,
that
you
is
should
my
definitely
presentation.
Post the first one first. Like this, you should definitely post this one first, and then release the real one after.
Like in the comment section of the thing.
I got druid. Oh my god, I also got druid.
That's crazy. What are the chances? But thank you so much for sticking with me on my presentation. It was a lot of fun to share that with you guys.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was really great.
too.
so-
Yeah.
I loved it.
Oh god.
Whoa.
Kira was trying to move you. I was trying to put you where
Oh,
you belong now.
He's being grabbed.
Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Oh, I can move myself. That's great.
No, I control
Oh, that's
everyone.
too much.
Oh,
Oh,
why
right.
am
You're
I-
making the thing smaller again, right?
You'll be fine. I'll
Okay.
fix it. I fix.
My bad.
I fix.
I think I'm in the right position.
No, I control everyone.
Oh.
So I moved you.
Oh,
I
you
just had to
moved
make-
me.
I had to make me smaller because I
Yeah.
was large. Which is why I can't be in there with you guys, because I'm too large.
You lorge.
I'm large and in charge.
Let me grab.
This is gonna be great. This is- Guys, I'm just saying, like, you just witnessed quality. Now it's time for half-assery, because I am a procrastinator, but I actually did make my PowerPoint yesterday, but I wasn't feeling so well yesterday, so I didn't have time to like make it. And then this morning, when I hadn't slept, I started being actually filling out what the fuck was going to be in this. So this is gonna be great.
I'm excited. You're
I'm
gonna
My
love
body
excited.
is ready.
I don't have a cool tagline either, but I do think it's a nice title though. I'm
I'm
like,
definitely
we just-
intrigued.
We had a lot of, we just nerded out, which I love. And now we're back to horny.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And
If you think I'm not
hello
horny
everyone.
for druids.
Hello everyone. My name is Sifaviana, your lewd and comfy chaos squirrel, and I'm gonna do a presentation on why it stays on. And you might be thinking to yourself, what the fuck does that mean? Then how is it lewd? Well, does it change? There we go.
No.
Have you
Oh
come across this meme?
my god.
It stays on meme. Yeah, you can see from the pictures. They're great. And I think it really became popular around a few years ago. And like, it's of course it's a joke about how stupid objects are pulled into intimate times, but in reality, and how you have to realize that this is an actual kink or fetish for some people. It's called a clothing fetish or clothing fetishism. And I found I have a little definition, which is clothing fetishism or garment fetishism is a sexual fetish that revolves around a fixation upon a particular article or type of clothing, a particular fashion or uniform, or a person dressed in such style. And of course, I brought a few examples and I tried to keep it TOS because there's definitely some really weird examples you could pull forth. But most of this is like, most of them are quite normal, which is like, you of course has like cosplay or like themed outfits, which is like sexy nurse, policewoman, man / firefighter / nun. Nun is very popular, I know. And I hope I kept it tame enough. And that's of course all of these different like why people are interested in these specific garments or clothing items. There's of course 100 different reasons. For example, like most of the role play outfits, of course there's a lot of with nurse and stuff. There's a lot of authority play in such cases. Whereas, for example, latex / rubber, which is also a lot of like there's a lot of sub kinks / fetishes under the clothing fetish, which of course is rubber / latex, where it's not just what it looks like, it's also the feeling of the textile and like, and of course, normally lingerie, very normal. A lot of people find lingerie hot. Because it's very revealing without being too revealing. But then, however, we also have over in like people can be particularly interested in specific styles, like armor is the example here. But you can also just have like medieval clothing specifically. Lolita style could be that is just turns you on a lot. But it can also be a specific like article, which is like shoes. A lot of people find high heels very nice. It's not about the foot, it's about the shoe itself. And of course, when we're talking about all of this, I also brought in a few examples from VTubing and popular media.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially within the VTubing community, I feel like we have
yeah.
a lot of clothing articles on us that are often fetishized or at least some people's kinks, and like stockings are a very, very good example. I feel a lot of people love high thigh highs, and that's also like, I assume if you put thigh highs on your model, it's also because you like thigh highs yourself. And then of course, recently there's been a lot of YouTubers who really go into harnesses. There's a lot of
Yeah.
YouTubers with harnesses.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
I also was while we were talking about this, I'm wearing a glove right now. I was like, oh, there's also gloves are also an article I feel a lot of people are into. And I also know a lot of YouTubers that are wearing gloves, both like hot, like long, elegant gloves, but also like those kind of like more short
Slutty gloves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love slutty gloves.
Mhm.
And then we have in popular media and gaming, I took 2 gacha games, but bunny girl outfits, which is not even
Mhm.
bunny girl outfits is also just like and maid outfits, especially within the VTuber community, is almost a requirement, I would say.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I took the muscle from Senseless Zero, which is not even a game that's out yet, but I really like the face mask kind of thing.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
It's so good. And of
Mhm.
course,
Yeah.
glasses, and then we have helmets, and that's actually a again subcategory or a sub like what do you call it, topic, which I also think is very interesting, especially when it comes to masks and helmets. Which is actually really interesting because there are studies that have suggested that wearing masks increases attractiveness. And why? And this is I also just want to preface this. A lot of this is not fully researched. A lot of it's also just my opinion and a few articles I did like find and like that suggested what it could be. But of course,
Sip, I have a
especially-
question.
Yeah.
In your expert opinion, do you think the mask thing is also why people felt extra touch starved during COVID?
Hmm.
That a little bit, because you're thinking that you feel more detached from the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that could be it.
Sorry, that just thought came to my mind, and I was so scared I was going to forget it. And since we're on masks, I wanted to ask it quickly, but now I'll let you go back to your presentation of this.
Yeah, but this is actually because actually the specific study that's like that I took here is specifically on COVID masks, not like
sick.
Oh,
fetishized masks.
Did it
But like
awaken stuff in
even
people?
COVID masks or like medical mask, it apparently does not make you less attractive if you wear a medical mask, which is
Mm-mm.
what this study thought they were gonna find, that people would associate the mask with like sickness and COVID and like bad memories and bad things.
Mhm.
But they actually found that people still find people more attractive even when they wear face coverings.
Wild.
But they only found like that there is an attractiveness. They didn't research why this is. Which is why I'm coming with some opinions myself about it because they didn't research it, and probably there's been more studies since then. But this is actually quite new studies from 2002. And why? Well, especially in popular media in modern day, there is a lot of fetishization of masks. There's a lot of how do you say this? It's associated with both good things and bad things, like heroes wear masks and like also villains if you're into that. There's something about a mask that's like there's intrigue in a mask, I feel. There's a lot of anonymity and mysteriousness, that you're hiding a part of yourself that you don't want to show anyone, but so you're technically holding yourself back, especially in a lot of cases with like how do you say villain slash a lot of horror villains have that,
Yeah.
you know.
That's why a lot of people think they're hot.
A lot of people find them hot. Role
They are
playing and
hot.
assuming another identity, that's definitely for the bedroom. If you want to role play, putting on a mask often makes it much easier to dissociate from yourself. But that's also what I thought your question was interesting, because yeah, I can see how you become dissociated too from this. Yeah. But yeah, but it doesn't, why it stays on isn't necessarily just a specific garment. It doesn't have to be a specific garment or article or a fetish outfit. There is also a kink, which is just it's called endotophilia. Endotophilia is a fetish for people who stay clothed or partially clothed during sex. It is unlike a clothing fetish, which focuses on very particular items and stuff. Such this is just, you know, an attraction to like the clothed body, and which is, it's very interesting because normally we like, it's very normal to associate nakedness with like sex, right? However, in this case, you get sexually aroused, or you have an attraction that can to either other people wearing clothes, or it can also be that you yourself prefer being clothed while you are doing the deed. And I actually thought this was a really interesting thing, and like how, especially how rare it is, because I think and this is a little bit subjective, but I think I have this because if you take this example here, personally for me, I find this much hotter than a bikini, for example. That's like, or like if this person was not fully clothed, but apparently, this image have a very interesting history, actually a very sad history. So I don't know if you know, but over in Korea, there is a huge gender war right now. And this image is from another gacha game, actually. And how does this come into play in a gender war? This specific outfit was released for like their summer release, and a lot of people were super angry that she was this covered up, showing just how much like it matters to people when it comes especially to like what they find attractive, whether something is fully clothed or partially clothed or fully not clothed. And like people got really mad, and unfortunately a female representing person got falsely accused of or like she got harassed to the point where she was fired from her job. And that's really sad. Yeah. It's very sad, but it just shows how even in just a stupid game, how important it is or can be, whether or not you represent different people's kinks or not. I feel that's why I pull up this example. However, overall, does it stay on? And it's just overall, my opinion is just it's hot. So yeah, it stays on. Any questions?
Yay!
That was awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? It's funny, like, because I never thought about it before, but yeah, it is. It's pretty hot when it stays on.
It's pretty hot. Again, some people have severe, like, where it's an actual fetish, and some people it's just, it's a kink. It can be like, and it doesn't have to apply to everything. And most people can find like lingerie hot, and like it's understandable. And most people kind of like, but a lot of people probably won't understand if you're into armor.
Clinking and clanging might be
difficult.
A little rough.
Especially with clinking.
I'm pretty
and clanking.
flexible.
Well, no, I'm just imagining how stiff it would be,
But not all armor is
Same.
plate armor.
Oh no, wait, you're talking about the armor. Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking about
Oh,
Kira.
I was like, what is
Metal, Jesus Christ. I know where your mind went. Jeez.
Damn.
So the armor, obviously.
So, if there is any questions, you already asked one question. Yeah.
Chat, you can ask questions too as well.
Yeah, Ted, you can also ask questions. Is it normal that I find this? Yes, it is. No.
Is it
We're
normal
very
that
king
you
positive here.
fish
So yeah.
fun?
Yeah. So does
Or-
this like crossover into like, because I think you mentioned role play a bit, because a lot of times with role play you're dressing up for like different characters or different scenarios. So this plays into that a lot.
I would say that not necessarily that I think that's actually very interesting. I personally think that roleplay doesn't necessarily have to do with the clothing, but the clothing helps a lot. And of course, there's also for some people the clothing is very important, especially because you're trying to, role play. If you're doing SpongeBob as the meme, like the meme, you want to get the essence of that character out, and clothing can definitely take you a long way. And for some, it's also a necessity.
Yeah.
But I think that's between you and your partner, though.
It's between you and your god.
Yeah.
You and SpongeBob.
Yeah. But actually, there was another thing I wanted to bring into this, which was objectophilia, because for some people, or I wasn't sure whether or not, because there are, for example, some characters that have characteristics. I did a would or would not with my friend Desiree the other day, and we came across Wolverine, and I was totally, the claw stays out, right? But is the claws a clothing article or just an object? Or
Technically,
is it just
it's part of his
extension?
skeleton, I believe.
I guess, yeah. So it
'Cause
is
he-
a part of his body.
Mm-hmm.
But we were also talking about weapons, the sickle stays when it would come to death from Puss in Boots, because they can be used in fun ways.
Oh my.
I guess
If
the
you're into that.
X-Men would definitely, I guess the X-Men and anyone with a quirk or whatever would definitely put a little, a kink in the thought process of how that
God.
would.
But
And I do it again. And how that would work, because would it technically, because it's would it technically be an object because it's not part of the typical exoskeleton of the typical skeleton of a human being?
Yeah.
Or
Maybe.
because they're mutants, it's part of their skeleton, so you'd be taking away their connection to
Their-
humanity if you say it's an object.
Exactly.
It's
I think
very,
it's a
why I
case
was
by
thinking
case
very-
basis.
it's a very interesting. Because then if you think about Angel,
Oh yeah,
his wings,
their wings.
his wings would be out, right?
Yeah.
Because he can't put them away. It's not like they go back into his back. They literally just either are tucked in or extended, but they're not part of a regular human skeleton.
Mhm.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Food for thought.
It's
Chat.
fantasy. But yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this topic up, because I find it
That's
interesting.
so cool. That is interesting. I actually really like that. That's cool.
But thank you for coming to my presentation.
Hell yeah.
Thank
It
you,
was very
Steph.
informative. It was eye-opening for me. I was like, oh shit, I do want to keep it on.
Yeah,
Hey,
get on.
sometimes it can be
guys.
nice.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm just gonna
I gotta rotate everyone
stop
around
streaming.
again.
There we go.
I like that we've just been playing musical chairs this whole time.
I was
Right.
looking at that, yeah.
Also, I'm sorry for background noise.
No, you're good. Well, wait. Nope, I connected
Oh, that
us.
was you? Oh, I thought I was just losing it. You're good.
I'm gonna have to apologize because a thunderstorm just started, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear it through my mic.
No?
No, you're good. I also have
Not
a
right now.
thunderstorm here though, so
Ooh,
I like nature
please.
ASMR. I'm
We had
good.
one yesterday.
Twinsies.
there we go.
I feel like the odd one out because I did a historical.
Hey, there was some history in mine.
True. So mine is the history of censorship in TV. And censorship in TV is a very interesting topic to me because it seems to affect a lot of people. Just a little background. I mostly focused on the United States, and the United States passed the Communications Act in 1938. That created the FCC, Regulation Board for Radio and TV, and it was created as a follow-up to the Federal Radio Commission, which had functioned from 1927 to 1934. The Federal Radio Commission was created because somebody had made a radio broadcast of a very inappropriate topic, and that inappropriate topic was talking about women's stockings. It was a commercial that people found very offensive. In the original Federal Radio Commission, there was only a total of 5 zones. So there was only 5 areas that people could get licensed to broadcast. When the FCC came into effect, it now goes from 0 to 9. And each one of those zones is limited on who is able to broadcast not only on TV, but on radio. And there's only certain licenses that can be given out. And the FCC can come after you for anything, including how you draw cartoon characters. Did you know Tweety Bird used to be nude? On November 21st, 1942, Tweety Bird first emerged in a cartoon called A Tale of Two Kitties. This version of Tweety Bird did not have its yellow feathers yet. Its original catchphrase, "I thought I saw a putty cat. I did," was actually heard during this broadcast. The original designer of Tweety Bird, Rod Schneider, had designed him without any feathers. And the FCC came after Warner Brothers and said that they needed to change his design because a naked bird was too close to a naked human being. So they were
How?
forced.
Okay, that's wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think the bird should
How?
have feathers because it looks creepy as fuck without the feathers,
Right.
you know?
Nope,
It's
it
too
was too
lewd.
close to human nudity. That is what they actually said.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you
I
think
that's their problem. I think that's their problem.
The
Yeah.
FCC is a furry, confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't see Tweety Bird again until August 19th of 1944 with The Bird and the Beast, and that is the first time we see its iconic yellow feathers. And Warner Brothers actually didn't originally give this episode a blue ribbon, which is the signature of all of their episodes. That was actually given to the episode in 1962. And its redesign for Tweety Bird was by the man whose name is Tom Mackenzie. He is the one who designed the yellow Tweety Bird. And then we get to the fun ones. So, anybody who knows the 50s probably has heard of I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was one of the first TV shows to really portray a married couple. Well, when Lucille Ball fell pregnant in 1952, the FCC said you cannot say pregnancy on TV. It is too lewd, it is too sinful, you have to use another word. So the words they suggested are with child, expecting, knocked up. Those were the words that they asked the TV show to use. Lucille Ball is also the first woman to be shown on television as pregnant. Yes, they did think knocked up was better than being pregnant. Gilligan's Island and I Dream of Jeannie also had a lot of issues with the FCC because they did not want to show women's belly buttons. So they had to do a lot of redesigns, especially with Jeannie's outfit. Annie for Gilligan Island would also often be shown in high-waisted shorts to make sure that her navel was covered. And Jeannie's outfit, they added a kind of sheer layer to cover her navel area.
Belly
The
buttons are so lewd.
Yeah,
much
I know.
So much more proper.
It was so problematic. The first time the FCC allows a toilet to be shown on TV is in 1957 with Leave It to Beaver. It was the first.
So before the toilet comment, I was starting to think that your guys' 2 PowerPoints, you and Sif, were kind of conjoined.
Almost, kind of.
Yeah.
It's a good
Oh.
lead up to this.
Yeah. Before that, the FCC thought showing toilets or even bathroom scenes on television could cause people to be outraged by showing bodily functions that humans
What?
have. And then we have Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was the biggest problem for the FCC when he would perform on TV shows because they could not show his gyrating hips. The first time this happened was January 6, 1957, on the Ed Sullivan Show. They refused to show him from his mid-chest down. So the whole entire time the camera's tracking him, you just see Elvis's upper chest, which is absolutely hysterical, and I found a video of it. If the
Oh
video
my god,
plays.
I'm excited.
I hope
Oh
so.
no, is it gonna play?
You borked
no.
it.
Oh no.
Do you have the link
Try
for
and
it?
go
I'm
to the link.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it.
We just get to look at his luscious lower lip for like a minute. Holy
Yeah.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
I know.
He's
Oh, no.
apparently too lewd.
Apparently he is.
You can
All
go
I'm
out of. You
saying-
can also just leave your PowerPoint and just find it. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. But it was a whole controversy about allowing Elvis Presley to even perform on the Ed Sullivan Show because a lot of parents felt that his behavior was going to hurt the children and cause them to sin.
Oh.
And
Wait, his hips are gonna make people sin?
Yeah,
Yes.
his hips are
That
gonna-
lower lip
that's-
is making me sin. What the fuck?
I know.
Kira,
I
there's
don't
a
think it's
reason
gonna be
that
his
these
hips, if
rules
anything.
exist.
Fuck you. But you're right.
It,
yeah.
like I don't think they were necessarily wrong in regards to like how people have started dancing from now in modern.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
to go all the way to that kind of sin, I'm like,
Yeah, it's a bit of
Nah.
a stretch.
that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it really was. And there was a lot of historical back and forth where Ed Sullivan had to really fight to have him on because the FCC said, if you bring him on, I found one of the videos. If you bring him on, we are going to fine you the biggest amount we can at the time, which was over $30,000, which would be close to about $500,000 today.
Jesus.
Oh, nuts.
And you can see right here where he's starting to shake his hips and stuff like that. And then you see the camera like zoom in on his upper body. It's great because you see him do this. And the Ed Sullivan Show did end up getting fined about $5,000 for Elvis just doing that
Oh,
one singular
wow.
move.
Just for
Because-
that?
Oh my.
Yeah, just for that.
That's so weird.
They had a lot of problems. And after that, they started shooting Elvis from the chest up like they have right now because they didn't want any opportunity for him to shake his hips because it was so inappropriate.
And
Did
then
you
like,
make any
as
comments
soon as
about
he
it?
did that, he does it
Someone was
again.
like, "No, we need
Yeah.
to see this."
Yeah, and
Someone rebelled.
he's singing Hound Dog, which is one of his most iconic songs, which everybody loves. Are you gonna work now? Okay. And then we come to the event that founded YouTube. Fun fact, because of Super Bowl 37, YouTube was founded because one of the founders of YouTube accidentally missed the part where Janet Jackson was exposed.
Oh, I remember that. I remember people
I
talking
remember
about
this.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
So, for people outside the United States, the Super Bowl is one of the biggest events in the United States, especially for commercial advertisement. And the FCC is very controlling of what goes on during the Super Bowl because you have millions of people tuning in. Well, on February 1st, 2004, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing together at Super Bowl 37's halftime show. During the halftime show, Janet Jackson had a wardrobe malfunction where Justin Timberlake accidentally ripped off one of her breast covers, and she was exposed to the world. This caused the FCC to levy its highest fine, which was over $500,000 against CBS. It also created a time delay. So this is why a lot of times now in live sports, we have time delays. Same thing that goes for the Emmys and the Grammys. because if there's any sort of improper language, they could get fined. This ripple effect also hit daytime soap operas, because before the crackdown, shows like The World Turns and Guiding Lights skirted the nudity standards of TV. They used to show mostly full sex scenes. Well, after the Super Bowl,
What?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah.
That is impressive.
But they were clothed.
Sometimes, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, they really skirted the lines. So after the FCC started looking at them after the Super Bowl, both shows had to pay fines anywhere between $42,000 to $380,000, and had to edit their newer seasons to reduce the implied sex in them. Because you have to remember, these shows were created more for moms at home. This also impacted the NBA game when they had Beyonce sing their halftime show. Beyonce was originally going to perform Naughty Girls, but because of the controversy, TNT, who is not a part of the people who the FCC could govern, decided that they didn't want the backlash and decided to ask her to change it, so she performed Crazy in Love. This also affected the 76 Academy Awards in creating a time delay. So in case there's anything improper said by one of the people who are receiving the awards, that they could censor it out, because ABC could face fines from the FCC.
Huh.
And then let's talk about one of our favorite things, 4Kids. So, 4Kids was a company started in 1970. It changed to 4Kids Entertainment in 1995, and it started to bring over animes from Japan. Some of them being Pokemon, One Piece, and Yu-Gi-Oh! In Pokemon, of course, we remember the fact that Brock kept turning rice balls into jelly donuts or popcorn balls.
Yeah.
They did that because they thought American and Western children as a whole would be upset with unfamiliar foods. They also would remove guns, like in the episodes Legend of Dratini, which is one of the 3 banned Pokemon episodes. In One Piece, they would actually remove all cigars and replace them with lollipops. That's why we see Sanji sucking on a lollipop so often. They
I thought he
also
was sucking something else.
no. Sorry to disappoint, but no.
Hey, yo.
They also changed some characters' skin colors because they thought it was too close to blackface. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! They created the Shadow Realm. The Shadow Realm was something that was never introduced in the Japanese show originally and was created for the American show because they wanted to avoid death. They also decided really weirdly to replace all alcohol with hot sauce. So characters would drink water. Characters would drink water with hot sauce instead of sauce.
At least in One Piece, it's like juice.
Yeah. In Yu-Gi-Oh! They went hot sauce.
So I
That's
can
the
see the
choice.
FCC's run by Texans. That's what's happening.
And then in Yu-Gi-Oh! They also had finger guns. So anytime there was a gun, they would just remove the gun from the animation and leave the hand there. So you would have these really weird edits of people just holding what looks like guns. And I pulled some of my favorite examples of 4Kids editing.
Fucking love that.
Wait, what? Oh my god.
Like,
Why is this
No. The one with the big
Amy.
dragon. Is that Yu-Gi-Oh?
that's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh.
That yeah. So
They
they
were-
added. They were trying to avoid it looking like a penis, but they made it even worse.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
even
god.
worse,
looks like a
dude.
It looks like it's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And like I never knew that Smoker actually had cigarettes in his or cigars in his mouth until I watched the Japanese version of One Piece
Oh.
because they took his cigars out. And also the very weird gun contraption they had in One Piece.
Oh my
One
god.
Piece
It's,
was like the best edits.
that is
something
great.
else.
I would say, however, for Smoker specifically, it could make sense. He can just like have smoke coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that
That's
would make
the
sense.
only thing.
Yeah.
But But
Yeah.
the lollipop.
Well, they're not the only ones with a weird censorship around smoking. So in Japan, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders, anytime Jotaro was smoking, it was censored by putting a black box over his face. Because in Japan, that was seen as something that was completely inappropriate. And they didn't want to show underage smoking. So any character that was underage that was smoking got the same treatment. Peppa Pig got an episode banned in Australia. And the reason why was because the episode was teaching children that spiders are not dangerous. Unfortunately, in Australia,
yeah.
there's
Oh,
spiders.
yeah.
And
I
That's a
actually
fair
heard about
one.
this one.
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's a super fair one. Now, I don't get Malaysia on this one. Malaysia banned Power Rangers because they thought it was too close to the word dealing with morphine. Because of the word morphing.
Oh
so
my
they
god.
thought
Oh.
Power Rangers
Sounds
was
weird.
yeah,
That's a
Power
stretch.
Rangers was encouraging drug use. It was banned until 2015.
That's 2015.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
at least now children will get to know Power Rangers.
Yes.
Oh
And
my.
there was a whole huge argument with the Malaysian government where they said the fact that there's morphing time sounded too close to it's morphine time. And they thought it was going to encourage children to use drugs. Now, Miss Piggy, the
she's-
iconic character from the Muppets, she is banned in Saudi Arabia. She's been banned in Saudi Arabia since
Oh.
1979 because of
Oh my
religious beliefs. Anytime Miss Piggy shows up in anything with the Muppets, she has to be removed to be distributed in Saudi Arabia.
Why
Yeah,
is
I
it
can
such
see
a
why.
big part of
Is it because she's
Right?
a pig?
Kermit's
It's
character?
because she's a
No,
pig.
it's-
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a religious belief, and they believe that
Oh,
they don't want to show her. And then here's the
I
box.
thought it was her sexuality and her strong, like,
no.
female character, but
No, it's just
I remember
because
this.
she's a pig. Yeah, this is how
I remember
Japan-
this.
This is how Japan censors smoking. So anytime in Japan, there's also China. I didn't pull the Chinese examples of blood because instead of showing blood as red or black, they decided to censor it by showing it as white.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. It's so funny.
It looks very
So
lewd.
funny.
It's
It
very
does.
lewd.
It is
How could they not
extremely lewd.
see how this would make it worse?
Yeah, and then in Germany, for the episodes of Naruto that involved Zabuza, they actually
Zabuza.
Zabuza, yeah, they censored his sword out, so he's just floating in air. I don't know why Germany decided the
He's
sword
standing
was
on his
wrong.
sword.
The
Yes.
sword's too much for them.
Now I need to see the sword. What does it look
I
like?
have to see. It's just a really big sword, but he
Yeah.
slices it into the side of a tree and he stands on top of the sword.
Yeah,
So now and he's looking down at the kids in the earlier episodes. It's the very first arc, and he's looking down on them and he's talking to them before the character of Haku is introduced.
yeah.
And it's it was right after the first confrontation between Zabuza and Kakashi, and he's talking to them and he's standing on a sword pretty high up in a tree. So sorry, I've watched Naruto a lot. So I'm picturing the exact scene. So I'm like, this is so
Hold on,
silly.
let me see if I can pull that image real quick because it's hysterical. It's the weirdest thing, and a lot of times
That's
in like
hilarious.
censorship, especially in the US, we are not okay with like sex and sexuality. But in Japan, they're not okay with smoking. Underage smoking is a big
Yeah.
no-no.
I actually have an example about sex and sexuality for Sailor Moon.
Oh, which the cousins.
Oh yeah,
cousins.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It made
so
it
for anyone-
worse.
it made it so much worse. When I was younger, I watched Sailor Moon, and when you're introduced to the two characters of Uranus and Neptune, they are introduced in the American version as cousins. But they left the sexual tension between them because in Japan. No!
Oh my god.
Wait, they left the handle there though? With the sword?
The handle.
So why is he just floating?
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know why
That's the
Germany
best
decided
thing.
that was the thing they were going to do.
That's the
Was-
biggest concern.
Was his sword in the rest of the episode, or is it just this
It's a
part they
phallic
took it
symbol,
out?
guys. That's it. That
No,
was
they
it.
made his
No,
sword
that's it.
completely invisible for all the episodes. So he's just swinging his halberd
It's too
around.
big. It's too
Oh my
big.
god. He just gets a
But that's-
handle.
Yeah, but that's the only
That's
sword
incredible.
they censored in Naruto in Germany. That's the only thing.
And
they
there's a-
censored.
Metric fuck ton of swords. There's like a
Yeah.
whole group of like the
Interesting.
swordsmen, the 7 swordsmen or whatever.
And there's something about this sword that's just like, no, we can't
Is
have
it too
this.
big?
Maybe it's the design of it. Maybe there's something about the design of it that's too close to something.
Could it be just it's a
Yeah.
big weapon?
Yeah.
It's just a
It
big
I'm
weapon.
curious. I need to look it up to find out why Germany doesn't want this.
It's like the best image. That's one thing I learned when I was doing the censorship, but I couldn't find a place to put it. But yeah, that's the end of mine. Does anybody have questions?
Right.
Oh,
I
right.
love
The...
this.
Yeah.
I learned something today.
Oh,
Hmm.
yes. Yes, me too. I cannot believe. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, so like the whole Sailor Moon thing, they left the sexual tension, but they introduced them as cousins in the American version, and then I got really confused as a kid
Oh yeah.
because I was literally like, but they're cousins, but they were so
Wait, so they're not really cousins?
No.
No.
they're lesbian
Okay.
lovers in the Japanese version, but in
Okay,
the
I was
American
like,
version,
I was worried because I was like, are they supposed to be siblings then? I was
No, 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 no. They're gay. They're dating.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're just
great.
beautiful gay lovers. But they, because of the way it was narrated, they just didn't change any of the narration. But they were like, oh, they're just super close cousins. And then all I could, like, when I was growing up, I think I at one point asked my mom, I was like, are cousins supposed to love each other like that? And my mom said, no.
It's too much
No.
loving.
She didn't
Wow.
explain it to me
I
until
feel
years
like-
later when we talked about it again.
I
There's
feel
like
like
a-
that bit is even worse than showing
Oh.
a queer couple.
Oh yeah.
You
Mm,
teach
yeah.
your children it's
That's
okay.
not even
to
the
fuck
worst
your
one out of
cousin.
Sailor Moon. The worst ones out of Sailor Moon are the Star Guardians that originally in the Japanese one, when they're in their human forms, they're male. And then when
Oh.
they transform into Star
Oh.
Guardians, they're
Oh,
female.
yeah.
And they just made them female
right.
throughout, which was so confusing. Because that destroyed like that whole plot line and made that even more convoluted.
Sailor
that-
Moon.
No, sorry, I was agreeing. Yeah, that made it really confusing because I remember I forgot about that, but yeah.
I was gonna say Sailor Moon is just because isn't Usagi like 12 and the dude she's like in love with isn't he like 19?
No,
She's
she's
like
15. Yeah.
She's
no,
15? Okay.
15,
Yeah.
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 She's
and-
15 and he's like 21 or something. It's like not good.
Yeah.
Don't they like
yeah.
age a bit over it too? So like it gets even more confusing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Usagi and Tuxedo Mask is they're reincarnations. So
Mamau.
yeah, so it's a rebirth thing where the two of them were married and in love, and that's where Mini Moon comes from because Mini Moon
Yeah.
is their child. And when the dark forces took over the moon, Serena's mother forced them into a reincarnation cycle and sent them to Earth. But some of them were corrupted, like Sailor Pluto. And that's why she has time manipulation. And that's also why Sailor Uranus has this whole like mental breakdown because she has the evil shards in her brain because of the reincarnation cycle.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not know
I
why
did-
she was
I've
having
never watched
migraines
Sailor
all the
Moon, so-
time.
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated, but it's still good.
That's cool though. That's
Mhm.
cool though. Man.
So Momo, what's your favorite censorship you found while doing the research?
So there's a show called not Big Mouth. It's I was gonna talk about it, but I decided to remove it. But there was a show that they had to censor out pubic hair. They were fine with everything
Oh.
else but this character. Oh, Smiley Friends. The FCC said that they could show brain matter, but they couldn't show smoking or vaping or implied sex or pubic hairs. And they had to pay somebody to go back in and censor out the pubic hairs on a character.
Huh.
That's
Huh.
funny.
Because that's not gonna make me want to gonna make me look at it more.
Right?
Right? Oh my
'Cause I know-
goodness.
The biggest censorship I've usually seen is like censoring out blood and making it like different colors, like white, or Danganronpa makes
Yeah.
theirs pink.
Yeah.
But it can also be cool, like depending on how you use. Like,
Yeah. But it's
That's
it's
so
weird how
annoying.
it's weird, especially weird because like I lived in the UK for a while when I went to uni,
Mhm.
and in the middle of the day when you're in the UK, condom commercials will start playing.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very normal. It's very normal in most places in Europe.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite one was the French one where the kid's running through the store throwing everything on the ground and the dad is just looking
Oh my
defeated.
God.
Oh, I've seen that
Or-
one.
Oh.
Or the
That's funny.
dogs. That one is great. Or the one, the English one with the balloon dogs humping.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I want to show you like a sign which is oh, I need to see if I can find it. This is a construction sign for a specific supermarket chain in Denmark. Give me
I
a
love
moment.
Denmark.
Give me a moment. Can I find it?
Just
we
watch
go.
the swap, and even the way you moved yourself so
Yeah, I'm
slowly, it was
posting
like
it- I'm
I'm
posting it in
slowly
General Chat right
approaching
now.
her.
I was trying to do it while looking, and it's like I was looking back and forth.
Oh.
This is saying
Oh.
new Netto. I don't know if you've ever, but Netto is a chain, and it's just saying
Yeah.
new Netto is on its way, and it's 2 dogs humping.
Oh my god.
Oh
they're-
my
it's
God.
What
their
the-
logo is a dog.
So funny.
That's wild. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love
don't know.
censorship laws. They're so funny. It's like for some things, yeah, it makes sense, like the whole Australia spider thing, because like,
Yeah.
damn, that would not go well for Australians. But like
Yeah.
other things, it's like, okay, so, and then Zabuza's sword,
Just gonna be floating there.
like just the one sword, because
Fine.
there's a whole story arc that surrounds the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist Village. It's a
Yeah.
whole thing, and Zabuza is one of them. He leaves the village and he takes his sword with him, but he has the 7th sword, while all the other 6 members, except for like no less, because 2 of them left also as well to be horrible creatures.
Yes.
But like they all come from the Hidden Mist Village, and they've all got these like crazy, unique, ridiculous, cool like swords. Like one of the swords is a freaking shark, and
Yes.
like,
Which
but like
the
Zabuza's
owner of the original owner of that one would.
What?
wood,
Yes.
yeah, wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Go on,
God,
sorry.
like,
Just
there's
like,
like
okay.
6 deterrents. There's like 6 other swords, but Zabuza's sword's the problem. And then I just think about the law. It's like, what was it, right? And then they just do these things. They just like they censor these things, and they never really say why. What is
Yeah.
it about Zabuza's sword that's so offensive to you? I want to know. I have to know.
It's more understandable when it's something that looks similar to something very negative from German history that I'm not saying on Twitch. When that
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
up in certain animes,
Mm-hmm.
that's more understandable with censorship. But Germany does like some really weird censorship in anime where they'll like take parts of swords away, or
Mhm.
they like turn guns into water guns too. That's
Oh,
another
that's
thing that happens
funny.
in Germany.
Yeah.
That's a good
one.
one.
That's a good one.
I've had a lot of fun today with all of you. I've really enjoyed getting to see all of your PowerPoints.
Thanks so much for
It was
having
fun.
me.
It was really
Yeah.
fun.
Do any of you have anything coming up fun this coming week?
I'm trying to think. Do I have anything coming up? Nothing I can publicly say, so or I can promote on Twitch.
Gotta be safe, so.
Valid.
Valid.
Actually, I do.
You
I do have something fun coming up on Tuesday, actually. You probably already know this one, Ava, but on Tuesday, I'm going to be with 3 of some of my good friends, Miki, Vil, and Mandy, and we're playing some Drunk Never Have I Ever over on Miki's channel.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
You didn't know?
Nobody
I'm so
tells me
excited.
things.
Oh, poor
Oh my
Ava.
god, I thought Bill would have brought it up by now.
No, Bill doesn't tell me what he's doing.
I'm gonna set that crab on fire and eat him for dinner.
He'd enjoy that too much.
I was gonna say, wait a second.
That's
hold
not
on.
a punishment.
Remember so. But yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I haven't played Never Have I Ever since I was like 19.
I was gonna say,
When
like,
I
I don't
was
think
old
I've done
enough
that
to
since
drink.
like college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty usual week, and I'm excited for that.
Mhm. Anyone else?
I'm really trying to think hard if there's anything else.
You should
No,
just go
everything
check
is-
out Sif's content.
Everyone
Follow
should check
on
out
Twitter or
everyone's
something,
content. I'm just
and
saying.
like get the updates of what Sif wants to talk about but cannot.
If you know,
But
you
you can
know.
also go follow all of these lovely ladies. And
And-
our cute
And
little,
hymns.
our
yes.
little cute cat boy.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. Lots of cuties here today. I don't have anything like super crazy this week. The following week, I'm gonna have the 4th of July, which someone here knows about.
It's not me.
Totally not.
It's on you.
Guys, I should never play poker. Not ever.
That'd be so bad.
That'd be so terrible. Yeah, the 4th of July is going to be really fun. Actually, funny enough, I was looking at my calendar. I was like, when is that again? It's not this week. It's next week.
No,
and
it's the
I was going to
7th.
mention it, but it's next week. Yeah.
It's because 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yum, 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 yum.
Mhm.
That's actually really fucking funny. Can I draw a cartoon for that?
Feel free to. I'd love to see it, to be honest.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. But thank you everyone for coming today and having a lot of fun with me. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Everyone in chat, you should go check everyone out because they're wonderful peoples.
Oh yeah, Canada Day. Sorry, yeah, Canada Day is on Monday.
I'm not from
happy
Canada.
Canada
How would
Day.
I know that?
I
What are you
forgot
doing
my
for
Sonia
Canada
Ninja mentioned
Day?
it. Oh, well,
happy
it's also my
Canada Day.
Thank you. It's also my father's birthday that day, so we have like a big day drinking barbecue out at my
Oh.
father's family home, and I get day drunk.
Wait,
Yay.
That'll be fun.
wait,
barbecue.
are you in the part of Canada where milk comes in bags?
Yes.
I love that.
Okay.
Go enjoy your bagged milk.
I do. Actually, I don't anymore because tummy.
Oh,
But
valid.
I did very much when I was younger, and my body could handle it. I was a bag milk girly for sure. And then I guess 3 days after Canada Day is the 4th of July.
Oh my god.
To my American
Fireworks.
friendos. Fireworks.
Imagine doing something for Fireworks Day. Couldn't be me. I actually don't think I'm doing anything. I looked at my calendar. Nope. I'm just gonna look in the sky and watch it be on fire. It'll be great.
Perfect.
Perfect. But thank you again, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see. Wait, what's today? Today's Saturday. I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know what today is.
Bye.
I was about to say, are we gonna continue or are we raiding?
I'm gonna read out. Yeah.
Ooh, who we raiding?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I was gonna put us on our ending screen and then pick someone.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you don't. You're smart because I'm like, I actually always do this in front of my viewers, and they get to see my indecisiveness on it's on a whole different scale.
I
That's
just
a
don't
smart
wanna make them
idea.
bother.
Yeah.
That is actually a really smart idea.
Yeah. But goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.